asking them to play a more advanced role this year. That's a transition that's going to happen. And then you bring players in from your JV team, and them getting acclimated to varsity basketball, the size, strength, and speed of it, that's an adjustment. So, for Coach Ziegler, who's been around the block more than once, he knows that. He understands it. He knows it's the process, and his goal is to stack good days together and play your best basketball as the season goes on.
Shot out of bounds. Both teams with a couple of turnovers in the early going here, trying to feel each other out. Reaching in on the drive. Nifty move, crossing over Pedroza, and that'll be the third turnover of the early going here for Archbold.
Nice blocking by Addison Lee to go and contest.
On the drive, almost stolen away. Good deflection. And Archbold will come out and pressure the line. Just as I say that, a quick open look, a quick decision, and Eowyn Blanchard drains the three.
Eowyn Blanchard comes in, shooting 31% from the three-point line. Got that one to go there. That is team off to a good start.
That is a Premier Bank three-pointer. And the first 5 points being drawn by the Rams.
That's 2 blocks already for Addison Lee, a rim protector on the inside. And what that allows to do defensively for Tinora, they know they can play good. Nice job there on the inbounds. That's Charlie forward. But it allows the defensive pressure on the ball to be greater because if you get beat off the dribble, you got Addison Lee in the back that can protect the paint.
Wow, look at this. Big post running and nice handles by Nova Oakley. Third starter for Tinora to score as they're up by 5. Quick post touch. Nice job kicking it back out. A 3-ball attempt, though, short by Garicki. Long shots, though, lead to long rebounds, and that was a good job by the guard court there to board. On the drive with a left hand around the world once, twice, and Charlie forward gets it to fall. She's got all 4 of the Blue Streaks points in the early going.
Archbold played this good, hard, physical man-to-man defense on the perimeter, trying to speed up this Tinora attack and create some turnovers. They get one there. Now they're out in transition.
Oakley turns it over, quick 1-on-2, backing it up, leaving it just a little bit short. Wow, there's a mouse in the house. Carly Oakley sneaks in underneath the cylinder to pull down the board. Nice jab step. Nobody rotates over, and I think Julia Durfee thought pressure was coming, and it never did. She did everything but finish. Well, stop and pop from the left wing. If they let that go out of bounds, that should be Tinora basketball.
Both teams feeling each other out here early, both trying to implore a lot of perimeter pressure. Again, trying to speed up the opponent, trying to get them to take some rush shots, create some turnovers. They've been able to do that to this point. We'll see who's able to settle in and execute at the highest level.
Durfee splits a double team. Nice job to put it on the floor, and a feathery touch off the glass by Addison Lee.
So on the defensive end with 2 block shots, get the bucket to go there. Off to a great start here for the Rams.
Went 9-4. The somewhat smaller Rams taking it right at the Blue Streaks. Point guard, Pedroza turnaround jumper, 1 and done. Good weak side box out by Blanchard. Boy, Archbold's going to stick in your jersey, though. They're picking up at half court, whether it's man-to-man or that zone press, and there's another turnover coming your way. Garicki. A little too hot on the cross-court pass to Meyer. Pedroza, boy, she's not afraid down there, but she got swatted. Johnny on the spot. Boy, they've got to think there's a lid on the basket right now.
That was good execution there. You got a great look off that penetration. Just didn't get it to fall.
Quick outlet, overthrown. Turnover by Tinora. 3:45 and showing, just barely halfway through the first quarter. Pedroza kicks it into a second gear. Nobody under. They are running. Was there a little confusion there as I think maybe 2 players weren't quite sure what they were running. Pedroza wide open on the wing. Halfway down, it kicks out. Johnny on the spot, Oakley. It's 1-on-4. She doesn't care. That's going to be a tough shot, and she got a little too far behind the backboard. Taken away. Little helter-skelter right now. Forward running 1-on-3. She's going in against the numbers. Wow, they've got no fear here tonight, and things getting physical down low.
No, would you like the aggressiveness, by – there's a nice shot there.
Garicki.
Miley Garicki lined it up. eyes and flies it from distance.
That is a Premier Bank 3-point shot, and we've got a timeout at the 3-minute mark. It was a 9-point lead, now trimmed to 2. We're going to take a quick timeout. You're watching the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Back at the dog pound, Tinora 9, Archbold 7. A steal off the inbounds, and first foul of the ball game. We'll see our first free throws of the evening.
Archbold applied some pressure, in the backcourt, but Tinora did a great job. Got the ball in the middle of the floor and attacked, and that's what you got to do against pressure. Is when you get numbers in the back end, you got to attack downhill. And Ayersville Blanchard did that enough to get to the free throw line and cash in on the first.
Foul is going to be charged against Grace Meyer, her first team foul number 1. With all the helter-skelter activity, that's just the first foul of the ball game as she drains both. It's been a cleanly played ball game in the early going. And this allows the Rams to come out in some token pressure. On the ball, first substitution of the evening for the Blue Streaks. Addie Kinsman now in, running the point guard chores.
Good cut.
Oh, nice cut. Kinsman wide open, and the iron unkind.
It was an outstanding weak side cut. Defender turned her head. You back cut to the rim from the weak side. You get a point blank layup. Didn't get it to go, but Tinora turns the ball over, and you get it right back if you're Archbold.
Pressure on the ball. I tell you what, Archbold doesn't hang their heads after a missed shot. They find whoever's got the outlet, and they get on them. The inbounds will come from Kinsman on the baseline. They run forward through Can't Find Her. And we'll see if Archbold backs it out and runs some offense. Well, if that means take it hard to the hole and draw the foul, Grace Meyer executed flawlessly. Foul's going to go against Ayersville Blanchard, her first team foul, number 1.
And again, with the attack, with the 4-out, 1-in, or the 5-out attack, what that does is it stretches your defense. It creates gaps. And when you got the ability like Grace Meyer did right there, you can exploit that gap, get downhill. You have a great opportunity, to take a high percentage shot. She did, got fouled, and gets to the line.
Drains her first, taking your time. Good rotation on the second. It's a little long, but shooter's touch. Falls through the cylinder. And what was once a hefty lead has turned into just a pair for Tinora. Guess what's coming here from Archbold?
That little 1-2-2 pressure here. You're trying to trap at half court. Good job reversing the basketball.
Wide open on the far corner. Nice pump fake and jab step. A little strong off the glass by Lee. Second chance, no good. Now we got a scrum in the middle of the paint. Jump ball. The only question is who's got possession? They're going to say Blue Streaks basketball. I like this officiating crew so far. Zach Metzger, Doug Etzler, and Randy Prince. They're letting them play.
Yeah, they are, and they're doing a good job. Number one, I think they're doing a good job, both teams, with perimeter pressure without fouling. And in the offense, they're doing a good job of attacking the basket. So it's been a well played game from a pace standpoint. I think both coaches want to limit their turnovers a little bit more than what they currently are. But you got to tip your hat to the defenses. They've been very active in creating those turnovers.
Inbounding from the near corner. Kinsman looking for somebody. Another flash to the basket. Power move, drop step into the paint, and the feathery touch off the glass. Nicely done by Addie Kinsman. Check that was 14. It's Miley Garicki. One and done down at the other end. Pedraza back in the game after a quick breather. We're knotted up at 11. Whoops. One player cutting. The other thought they were popping. Better ball movement, especially around the perimeter the last couple of trips down the court. Muscling up forward, gets her own board. Approaching the minute mark here in the first quarter. Nice setup three, and that's well done by Garicki.
Yeah, but it's their second made triple of the first quarter here. Got those feet set, shoulders square, and drilled it.
It's a Premier Bank three-point shot. And first lead of the ball game for the Blue Streaks. We got a turnover. Or was that just an out-of-bounds shot? And getting it right back off the presser, Carly Oakley hustling. On the drive, leaning in a little too hard, crashing the glass on the weak side. Durfee had it, lost it. 2-on-2. Forward doesn't care, got a little deep. Tell you what, both teams with no fear, and that ball's knocked out of bounds off of Tinora. Durfee had it, and I know so often when you get into that mindset, Rhett, you're immediately turning and looking for an outlet to run. Secure the basketball first.
Yeah, you take your eyes off the ball, you look downfield. It's no different than a receiver in football. You know, when they want to turn their shoulders and get upfield before they secure the catch. And again, the turnovers are piling up for both teams unofficially. Both teams with Tinora with 4, Archbold with 5 already. When they've been able to hold on to the ball, they've gotten high percentage looks getting downhill to the rim. So
Emma Bailey checking in for Tinora. Nice out of bounds play, but the pass was just a little off the fingertips of Pedraza. A lot of movement without the basketball in this Archbold offense. Oh, Pedraza, nifty crossover, and she draws the contact. She doesn't stand in very tall at just 5'3", but she's got some nifty handles.
Yeah, she's able to split the defense there and then climb the ladder. And she got hit by Emma Bailey as they get to the free throw line. And what Archbold's doing offensively there, they're running that kind of that 4-out, 1-in, but the one post is at the foul line, and they're doing a lot of back screening, which is freeing up that weak side cut to the rim. And that's where you're seeing a lot of those open catches on the block. Now, they haven't been able to convert as much as they would have liked, but they're getting great looks off of that screen at the high post.
First is good. Second one splits the nylon. 16-11, not only their lead, but their largest of the ball game by 5 in the final 10 seconds of the first quarter. Blanchard breaks the pressure. Still that offense being pushed out near half court. They've got to hustle. I think she ran that maybe a little bit early, and that's going to do it for the first 8 minutes of this basketball game. So all Tinora early, but the Blue Streaks with a big run to take a 5-point advantage at the end of 8. We're going to take a First Insurance Group timeout. When we come back, quarter number 2, you're watching the DTP Classic on DCTV Sports. Second 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. We welcome you back to the Dog Pound, Defiance High School. Brent Balbinot alongside, he's Rhett Boyd. It is night number 1, game number 1 of the DPT Classic. We'll have the winners of both games tonight play the winners tomorrow night. Likewise, those on the short end of the scoreboard will be playing in the first game. Right now, though, second quarter underway, and we want to give you some stats, the stat summary, courtesy of Mark Moats Ford. What do you have for turnovers for both teams?
Well, Tenora's committed 4 in the opening quarter, and that's not going to make Coach Steele very happy. In Archbold, they committed 5. Now, I think So for both coaches, it's got to be a point of emphasis against this hard man pressure that they're facing is they got to handle the basketball, because both coaches can also stress when we've done that, ladies, we have gotten the ball downhill, we've gotten to the basket, which is what our game plan is, but we just got to make sure we don't give possessions away and continue to attack.
In the scoring column, as Pedraza puts one up off the mark, Miley Garicki leading all players for the Blue Streaks. She's got 8 points, 4 for Charlie Forward, and a deuce apiece for Pedraza and Meyer. On the move, nice left-handed layup, left just a bit short. You can see the body language there by Addison Lee. She's got 2. Likewise, so does Durfee and Nova Oakley. They're being led by Eowyn Blanchard with 5 points. And those are your Mark Mortz Ford stats summary. 16-11 our score here. Blue Streaks moving the ball much better. In the early going, it kind of stuck, but they seem to have found their offensive rhythm right now, Rhett.
Yeah, they're doing a good job reversing the ball side to side, driving and kicking off of that penetration. And that's just creating some open looks. Nice back cut there. Just couldn't execute through the active hands of the defense.
Great deflection by Addison Lee. And here come Tinora. Oh, great look. Nice pass down low, and the shot missed. Point blank, Bailey had it. Just wanted to pad the rebound stats a little bit.
Yeah, good job just staying with it, too. Oftentimes, the shooter, you know if it's going to be long, short, right, left. Stay with it. Sometimes you get rewarded with an offensive rebound putback, and she did there.
Deficit cut to 3 by Tinora. Archbold with a 3-point advantage. Checking into the ball game. Nice dribble drive, stop and pop jumper, but it's off the mark by Alana Perez, and we're going to have a jump ball. I think I see the reason why Emma Bailey was inserted by Coach Thiel. She asked for no quarter, and she gives none.
Yeah, she's done a good job just being physical down there and challenging shots, altering shots at time, be able to secure the rebound.
Oh, that's a dangerous pass against this press, and one that was ill-advised. That's going to be another turnover, and Carly Oakley shaking her head, wishing she had that one back.
Referees are going to talk about this tonight.
Was it touched or not? I think, is that the question? They're going to say deflected and off of Archbold. All right. And you can see by Brian Ziegler's reaction, he clearly disagrees.
Well, I know we're up here in the crow's nest, so I know that we don't have the best vantage point compared to the officials right on top of the play, but it did not appear to be touched. So I think Tinora got away with one there.
Good ball reversal and a long 3. The drapery swish, Amelia Coy in the books. And that is another Premier Bank 3-point shot. And we are tied at 16.
But she can do that too. She comes into the game shooting 33% from distance. Got her first attempt to go there.
Back and forth we go here. Nice dribble penetration, stopping in a wide-open 15-footer. That's a sweet-looking J from Charlie Forward.
Yeah, Charlie Forward did a good job. She's gotten downhill to the basket. That time, recognized the defense was backing off. She pulls out for the soft jump shot. Got freed up by a nice screen there as well.
Into the far corner, Durfee on the move, cut off baseline. That's good help side defense, and did she step? Have a timeout instead. We will take a break with them at the 5:19 mark here in the second quarter. Tight ball game, Tinora and Archbold. You're watching the DTP Classic on DCTV Sports. It's going to stay with Archbold here with 2:21 left to go in the half. Pedraza, the trigger woman on the baseline. Well, that was a dangerous pass, and that's a heads-up play by Lee as she knocked that ball away. I thought for a second that might have rolled down the shin and off the ankle of Garicki. That's what Coach Thiel thinks, but a changing call not forthcoming, Coach.
No, now this slides the entry pass on this inbounds play, this baseline out of bounds play down in the deep corner. It's not an easy place. Not a lot of plays you practice inbounding the ball from that deep corner. They get it in.
They do. Couple dribbles. Nice stop and pop from 18 feet out. And again, a pretty looking jump shot by Garicki.
Every time Garicki's had a clean look at the rim, she's nailed it. 2 threes, and that time little head fake. They'll put the ball on the floor and knock down that mid-range.
Lee is hurt. I didn't see what happened. She might have collided with somebody, but she is gimping over to the bench.
She may have went knee to knee, and if that's the case, that stings her a little bit. And
Bailey checks back in for Tinora. Down by 3. Trying to change that with this shot, and she does. Great ball movement. Nice job to square up and drain the 3 by Nova Oakley. And that is a Premier Bank 3-pointer. Back and forth we go here, partner.
Yeah, Nova Oakley, too, a 35% three-point shooter. So anytime you get the ball in her hands behind the arc, you'll take it. And she drilled that. But this has been a great basketball game. Good pace, evenly matched teams, making life difficult for each other on the defensive end. But at the same time, when one team scored, the others had an immediate response.
Off the rebound, and it brings Dew down with it, but Grace Meyer now has 4. First basket from the floor, and it gives the Blue Streaks a 2-point advantage as we approach the 1-minute mark here in the half. Stopping free throw line extended, Blanchard, and they throw it away. Another turnover, this time Perez. Nice secondary break, and that doesn't fall. Nice job to hustle back, and Durfee secures the two-handed board. Not slowing down Oakley, and that's deflected out of bounds.
That's a great job by Grace Meyer, just hustling back on the weak side to be able to get a deflection there. If she's jogging at all, that's a clean pass to the corner for an open 3, but her hustle was able to get the deflection, knock it out of bounds, now allows her team to step back up in a 5-on-5 situation.
Durfee lobs it into the low blocks, quickly turning and shooting, and that's the shooter's touch for the big Emma Bailey. She's in the books, and once again, we're tied at 26. Perez looking inside. Step back 3. Goes begging off the left side. Nice job to crash the glass. And they're getting physical down low. That was Nora Ruffer for Archbold. Jump ball to call. And this time the arrow points to the Rams. Archbold will sub in. Janae Kinsman will check in. Goricki will take a seat. And here comes that pressure again. Nice job by Durfee to re-scream. Kicking it into a second gear. Oh, wow, what a pass. Easy lay-in by Bailey.
Great look underneath. Realizing that you're behind the backboard, you don't have an angle. The defense steps over to help, and you just little pocket pass to Bailey on the inside for the finish.
Carly Oakley with eyes in the back of her head. 2 seconds, 1 second. Shot at the buzzer would count if it goes, but Pedraza can't get the range. I tell you what, this has been like 2 heavyweight fighters standing in the middle of the ring just trading punches through the first 16 minutes. Tinora will head to their respective locker room with a 2-point advantage, 28-26. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching first round action of the DTP Classic on DCTV Sports. We are back at the Dog Pound. Good to see you this evening, Defiance, and wherever you may be watching here this evening. Brent Balbanot alongside Rhett Boyd. We have reached the half. Tinora and Archbold in the first round of our doubleheader tonight. It is the DTP Classic. The second header. The second header? Yeah, sure, the second header.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're rowing tonight. A regatta, if you will. I'm not sure where the nearest body of water is. No, we're going to see Defiance taking on Ayersville this evening. So don't you go anywhere after this one is finished. But right now at the half, 28-26 in really a back-and-forth game. What stands out through the first 16 minutes?
Well, number one, how even these teams are in terms of personnel and styles of play. Both teams want to push. Both teams want to spread the floor and get downhill to the basket. Both have been able to do that at various points with relative success. I think what's plagued both teams at the same time was turnovers, especially in the first quarter. Tinora had 4 and Archbold had 5. But both teams did a much better job in the second quarter. Each had 2, so they were able to cut those turnovers down. And what that allowed is for more of their ability to attack in the half court, attack downhill, get to the rim. Both teams are making a living in the lane, and then they've been timely from distance as well. A very evenly played game on both ends of the floor by both teams. I think we're in for one heck of a second half.
Looking forward to it. Let's get to the statistical scores here this evening. Leading all scorers, Miley Garricky for Archbold. She had 8 in the first quarter. She had 1 basket in the second. She's got 10. Hot on her heels, Charlie Forward. She's been very steady. 4 points in each quarter with 8. And then a deuce apiece for point guard Alana Pedraza and starting center Naya Grime, I should say. And then a 4 also for Grace Meyer. On the flip side for Andrew Fields' Rams, they are being led by Nova Oakley. She's got 9 points, 6 coming in the second quarter. Half a dozen points for Eowyn Blanchard, and that includes a couple of free throws. As a matter of fact, a great job from the charity stripe, 5 out of 6 for the Rams in the first half. 4 points for starting center Addison Lee, a deuce for Julia Durfee, and then how about this, 7 bench points, 4 for Emma Bailey, and a tray from Amelia Coy. That might be a big factor as this game wears on.
It is, and I think too, looking at the second half, we talked about limiting the turnovers. Both teams did a better job of that, but I think in the second half too, both teams missed some shots within that 8-foot range that maybe they don't normally miss. If they can shore that up, that's going to help. But I think who can get to the free throw line more, it could also become a big factor in this ball game as well.
Wear them out, foul them out. We'll wait and see. Playing strong, but yet solid defense going to be crucial, as neither of these teams are particularly deep.
No, and so, yeah, you're right. So can you play, and that's always a key. When you want to employ pressure as a coach, it's can we do it with discipline? Because obviously you don't want to have get in foul trouble, and you don't want to put the other team in the bonus early, where that can become a factor in the ball game. So that's something that they work on a daily basis. And I think both teams, for the most part, have done a good job of that, and then be able to create turnovers on top of it's a bonus. But again, as the second half wears on and fatigue starts to set in, who can execute at the highest level in that department?
We're still 5.5 minutes away from the start of the second half. More of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show when we come back. You're watching the opening game of the first night of the DTP Classic on DCTV Sports. Welcome back to the Dog Pound. Brent Balbinot alongside Rhett Boyd. More of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show as we're about 3.5 minutes away from resuming play here. Very tight ball game. Tinora at 2-1. Archbold at 3-2. And right now the Rams with a 1-basket advantage, 28-26. All right, so get inside the head of both of these coaches. We'll start with Blue Streaks coach Brian Ziegler. 16 seasons at Archbold, 25 in his entire career. He's coming into this one with 390 wins, actually entered this season with 390 wins. You're down a basket, but you were down by as many as 9 in this first half and used that press in particular to help get back into it. What's your message to your team in the locker room?
I think one offensively, you just got to continue to harp the fact, say, ladies, listen, when we have taken care of the basketball, we've got anything we wanted offensively. You're doing a good job of screening out top, which is allowing some back cuts to the rim. Dribble penetration's gotten to the rim as well. Now, they haven't finished at a high enough clip that he probably would have liked, but you keep telling him we're doing everything right. Stay positive, keep attacking, and those shots that we make on a daily basis, they're going to start falling for us. But I think on the defensive end, on the other end, you got to make sure we got to do a better job of containing the dribble one-on-one or providing help from the wings, because Tenora's done a good job of getting downhill and getting inside that 8-foot mark. They just haven't made enough shots from that distance as well. So I think the message for both teams is very, very similar, is take care of the basketball. We got to finish a little bit better inside the painted area.
All right, you got 90 seconds. You're Andrew Thiel, second-year coach. You had a big lead. You watched it evaporate, but to your team's credit, you weathered the storm and actually take a 2-point lead into the second half. What do you want to see in the second 16?
I think just that. I said, continue to maintain ball pressure, but to be able to contain the dribble, as well. I think with that high post screening action that Archbold's employing within the half court, you got to make sure that you are communicating, jamming that cutter until the original defender can get back in position and then rebound the first miss. Because when you can rebound, it allows you to push the basketball, and you yourself can get transition on the other end of the floor.
Very quickly,
Addie
Lee and Julia Durfee have done a good job of getting to the iron. They have had trouble finishing, and it looks like it's become more of a mental game than a physical. What do you tell those two?
You just put your arm around them and say, listen, you play this game a long time. You've done it with a high rate of success. Just keep attacking. Go out there, play basketball, have some fun, and those shots will start falling.
Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show coming to an end. The second half around the corner. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching day number 1, game number 1 of the DTP Classic on DCTV Sports. Final 30 seconds ticking off the halftime clock here. The Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show on DCTV Sports. Brent Palmadon alongside Rhett Boyd saying thank you for joining us. This is the appetizer. It's a hot, heavy appetizer, but the main course is coming about 15 minutes after this one finishes up, as Defiance will be taking on Ayersville. Ayersville 4-0 on the season. The host Bulldogs hoping to use a little home cooking to pick up their first win of the season. Who will be in the winner's bracket after 16 minutes of this one? We will wait and see. Buzzer sounds, and it looks like the same starting 5 for the Blue Streaks that began the ball game. Pedraza, Meyer, forward, Garicki, and again, we've been saying Grime. I thought I heard the PA announcer say Grimmy. We'll wait and see. So our apologies to Naya. We'll get it right, I promise you. Likewise for Tinora, Oakley, Blanchard, Durfee, and Lee. 2-3 zone right now being employed by the Rams. Patience. That's what really got them back into this game in addition to that press. They slowed things down. The second quarter was textbook on how to run a half-court offense for Archbold.
Anytime they pick up that dribble on the perimeter, that ball pressure is going to increase, and that's when turnovers happen. So if you're Archbold, you got to keep the dribble alive or be very decisive when you pick it up in terms of where you're going with the basketball.
Taking their time, too. Absolutely no rush. Nice dribble penetration that time by Charlie Forward, and she picks up the foul.
Well, there's one adjustment already by Coach Thiel of Tinora. Instead of that excessive perimeter pressure that they were putting on, which created driving lanes when Archbold decided to put the ball on the floor. They're playing man-to-man, but it's more of a sagging man-to-man now. They're trying to condense the paint with bodies and not allowing that dribble penetration to occur, and just let them pass the ball around out top and until they get maybe a little bit antsy and force the issue a little bit. But to Archbold's credit, Forward was able to get to the free throw line.
She drains her first. Good-looking stroke. She's got 10 on the evening, and we're tied at 28. dribble penetration there. Nice use of the screen on the baseline drive, and the iron just kind of teased Addie Lee there a bit. She will go to the charity stripe.
Addie Lee recognizes she had a mismatch size-wise against Grace Meyer, and she was able to put the ball on the floor enough to get in a position where that size could become a factor, and she was able to get fouled to get to the line.
First is on the way, smooth-looking stroke.
Well, she comes in this ballgame. She's their leading scorer at 11.7 points a game coming into this one. A little quiet in the first half, had some opportunities, didn't cash in, but did a good job here early getting to the line. You said good stroke. She's able to split the pair.
Yep, she gets 50% there. She's a 42% free throw shooter on the young season. Expect that number to range, though, especially if she stays aggressive and continues to go hard to the iron. 29-28. Oh, wow, the banks are open after hours here in Defiance. Charlie Forward says that's exactly how I drew it up. Wow. Quick move at the other end. Good ball movement by Tinora. Nice dribble penetration. Extra pass, top of the key. Little long on the three by Durfee. Forward. Oh, wow, talk about a nifty pass. An inch lower, and that's a turnover going the other way. Instead, it's going to be another assist as Garricky now with 12 points.
Well, again, anytime you can rebound the first miss, it allows you to get out and run, and they were able to cash in there on that opportunity.
On the drive, a little contact. No call, they play on. You could hear Coach Thiel wanting a foul. Heads up play defensively by Blanchard to get back. Inbounding on the far side, Garicki. And again, they just kind of rock you to sleep with this offense.
Well, and now the defense has changed. Now it's a little 1-3-1 zone.
Good board on the weak side by Oakley.
So Coach Thiel trying to change the look. They put a little bit of a sagging man-to-man to start the half. That allowed some mid-range jump shots to fall, and now they're going to switch to a zone, see if it pays off for them. But
both coaches playing chess right now. Ball was partially deflected, but Johnny on the spot picked up. That is a tough shot, fading away on the backside, but Eowyn Blanchard draws the contact.
And that's one, if you're Coach Ziegler, you're gonna talk. You're gonna have a conversation with Miley Garicki. Say, look, it's an isolation. She's spinning, moving away from the rim, and taking a tough shot along the baseline. Don't bail her out. Just contest. Hands straight up in the air, contest, make her shoot over your frame, and then secure the rebound. But, being aggressive as she was on that, it put her at the free throw line.
Blanchard drains the second. Pulls the Rams to within a deuce at 32-30.
In that 1-3-1.
Yep.
1-3-1 zone. You got Addie Lee out top, gives them some size. It restricts passing lanes. But if it does allow you to get some shots out of the corner.
Almost. Battle for the board on the weak side. Boy, that's just strength and then nifty ball handling. Right now, Blanchard thought about going coast to coast, and she hits the deck. Show of sportsmanship here by Pedraza to help her up. It will remain Rams basketball.
Not sure there wasn't some contact there that forced her.
There was. But they're letting them play.
But here's what happens, though. But when you flick up at the basketball from behind and it pops forward, the referees usually they let that go. But if you're coming down across the arms, then they'll call that. But I think they got away with some body contact on that one.
Boy, Archbold has really ratcheted up their man-to-man defense right now. And a nice job to split it, a little bit of contact. And you could see by the body language, Nova Oakley thought she was fouled.
She just got her feet caught up a little bit in traffic. Their incidental contact.
Oh, look at this. A little 5-3 keg of dynamite, and Pedraza can't finish. Boy, they are both getting good looks.
You just got to finish with more regularity. And again, even though it's frustrating, you just got to keep being positive. Look, it's exactly what you want. Keep going to the well, and the shots are going to fall at some point.
A little more patience right now by Tinora, trying to tie it up, but they could take the lead with a three. Drive and dish, ball deflected, and that's just great anticipation by Grime. And then a loose ball. Who wants it? Pure hustle. Pedraza walks the tightrope down the near sideline. Down the right side. Boy, everybody getting aggressive right now. Meyer picks up the foul.
And Tinora is continuing to attack. The basket. A lot of success in the opening half, which is attacking those gaps. Archbold's playing really tight in the wings. They're not off in help position. That's allowed the ball handler to get downhill.
Grace Meyer, 2 for 2 from the charity stripe tonight. Make it 3 for 3.
I had my team's flip-flopped on that. It was Tinora tight on the wings and Archbold getting downhill. But, you know, either that's scouting report, which keeps you tight on the wings, or it's an adjustment that the coaches are going to see. Say, look, you know, if you're in the wing, let's sit in the gap and make them kick it out and make them take some 21-footers. Because right now they're getting to 2 feet, and they're getting to the free throw line as a result.
Nice cross-court pass. Mini secondary break, and it pays dividends as Julia Durfee drains her first basket of the second half. It happens to be a Premier Bank three-pointer. And it pulls the Rams back to within 1.
Now back to man, mixing defenses. There's a travel call right there.
Pretty obvious. That's a travel.
Coach Thiel did a good job mixing defenses. We've seen we've seen the 1-3-1 here already in this third quarter. He's trying to give this Archbold team a different look, making them slow down a little bit and less aggressive. It's paid off.
Over the top of the pressure, it's 1-on-2. And that's a heads-up move by Blanchard to back that out. Another 3 on the way. Halfway down, Durfee was feeling it. Pedraza quickly up the court. Meyer stops on the wing. Right back to her point guard. I like that shot even though it was short. It was taken with confidence. Loose ball. Meyer. Boy, they are just getting after it. The tempo of this I wouldn't say is slow, but I wouldn't say it's frenetic. This is old school basketball.
No, it's great tempo. Getting to the rim just on that particular play. Great drive. Better job defensively by Addison Lee. She's got 4 blocks already in this ball game. What an added bonus, you know, having that rim protector on the back end.
Tempo of this game has just been smooth. Nice jar of Jif or Skippy, whichever your preference is. One dribble in, 18-footer rattled home. Charlie forward. That's almost a lost art, especially at the high school level.
She knocked down 2 or 3 of those already in this ballgame. That's her second of the second half from that 15-foot mark.
3 from the near corner off the far side of the iron. Nice job, nice hustle. Reverse layup, though, a bit short by Oakley. And on the run, a rare fast break opportunity for forward. And guess who got back and knocked it away?
Forward's done a great job. She's knocking down some mid-range shots. She's rebounding the ball. She pushes in transition. She's kind of been the steady hand.
Nothing's forced.
Nothing's forced. It's all within the realm of what you want to get done if you're Coach Ziegler. But she's kind of been a little jack-of-all-trades, Swiss Army knife, if you will, for Archbold here this evening.
There's just a smoothness again about her game. She leads all scorers right now with 16. 2.5 left to go here in the third quarter. Pedraza. Is this a 3-2 or 2-3 again?
No, it's still man-to-man. It's just sagging man-to-man. Yep. Just trying to narrow those gaps.
Boy, good movement, good pass, good decision. Even though the 3's off the mark by Garicki and out of bounds, it will be Tinora basketball.
That's a good job. It's a much better job defensively by Tinora. Again, with the sagging man, you narrow the gaps. They were able to seal the gap and force the kick out. That was an open 3, but it's also one from 21, 22 feet, which is much more difficult to make than a 2-footer, which they were giving up in that first half.
Blanchard needs help. She's picked up her dribble across half court, and Coach Thiel is right there saying, let's go ahead and think about this. One timeout. The $1:59 left to go in the third quarter. This is a First Insurance Group timeout. Right now, we've got the Blue Streaks up by 3, 36-33. You're watching first round action of the DTP Classic on DCTV Sports. Just a second, under 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter as we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. Brent Balbinot alongside Rhett Boyd. Opening round, opening game of the opening night of the DTP Classic. Tinora and Archbold, who will stay in the winner's bracket and play for a championship tomorrow night. Right now, the Blue Streaks leading the Rams by 3. Rams can pull to within 1 or tie it up if they get a good look from beyond the arc. Blanchard partially blocked. Clean by Garicki, The outlet, oh my goodness, they released 2 players. Who wants it? The ball partially lost. Nice job to stay with it. I think that made a difference, though, in forward. And the Rams dodge a bullet.
Yeah, good job getting back and be able to contest that shot, because it looked like it was going to be an easy transition opportunity at the start of it.
Oakley, nice drive, stop. She didn't follow her shot, and you could tell she thought it was short. And another release, this time by forward. This time she doesn't miss. She has owned the third quarter. That is her 8th point.
Well, she's controlled the scoring column. She's controlled the backboard as well.
Durfee. Wow. And she's also getting back in boarding. She's a Swiss Army knife.
I'm going to tend to bet that she leads the team in both categories, scoring and rebounding here this evening. And, you know, that's definitely somebody you can lean on. One of those players, those 4 players coming back off of last year's team, got that experience, now in a much more advanced role and really taking advantage of it here early in the season.
Now, she is out in front making her case for the Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game. We still have a lot of time left to go, but look at this, slowly starting to pull away. And the and one coming here for Garicki.
That was a simple 2-man game on that left wing, a little screen roll action. Garicki set the screen and then had a hard roll of the rim. He was able to seal, get the defender on her back. And gets to the free throw line as the help was late to come over.
Drains her first. Substitutions now for Tinora. Lee checking in as Blanchard will take a seat. So will Oakley.
Even though it's a 2-possession game, maybe a 3-possession game here on a made free throw, you just don't feel like, you know, that Tenora's done. You know,
No.
Because of the pace of this game and the quality shots that they're getting, you just feel they have another run in them here in the final minute of the third and into the fourth. And I think I predict this is going to come right down to the wire between these two clubs.
Garicki out, Perez in for the Blue Streaks. Largest lead of the game for Archbold. They enjoy it by 7 and really picking up the intensive pressure around the arc defensively. On the drive, nice dish. Can Lee finish with the 3? She does! Addie Lee now with 8 on the Premier Bank 3-point play. Pardon me, 3-point shot.
Well, she's knocked down 50% of her shots from behind the big line coming into this ball game. That was a great job, great execution of driving, forcing that defense to collapse and help, and finding Lee spotted up from distance in that corner.
Pedraza surrenders the ball. 2 seconds, 1 second. I'm not sure they're aware. And Lee with the facial to end the third quarter. Now that 3-point line is a great equalizer, and just like that, the deficit has been trimmed to 4, 40-36. We'll head into this first Insurance Group timeout. The final 8 minutes up on the scoreboard. We'll have it for you when we come back on DCTV Sports. Coming out of that first Insurance Group timeout, it is the end of a quarter, so that means Mark Moats Ford bringing us our stat summary. You had the easiest job of anybody in this building during that third quarter. You didn't have a single timeout, turnover marked.
Well, that's unofficial. But yeah.
Okay.
But we talked about the quarter. Ooh, we have somebody. Who do we have down there?
That's Bailey.
Emma Bailey. I don't know if she.
I think she maybe got tied up on the foot of Janae Kinsman, and How often do you see that? You come down on somebody's foot and twist that ankle, and she's at least walking off the court under her own power, so that's good.
But yeah, back to the turnovers. You know what plagued both these teams, especially in the first quarter to start this ball game. They progressively gotten better. Neither team committed a turnover in that third quarter unofficially, and the result is we still had great pace of this game, and the offense has found a rhythm a little bit.
Oh, nice running one-hander by Amelia Coy. That gives her 5 now on the evening, and it pulls Tinora back to within the basket. Unofficially, the scoring column. Charlie Forward leading all scorers for Archbold with 16, hot on her heels. Miley Garicki with 14. 9 points for Nova Oakley, but she was held scoreless in that third quarter. And Addie Lee was 7 after a three-pointer and a free throw. So again, you see basically the two-headed monster for Archbold, whereas Tenora's leading scorers struggled in that third quarter.
Lena Perez did a good job for Archbold that possession. They come down with that offensive rebound, able to see if they can steal some second chance points here and try to extend this lead.
Kinsman. Remember, Pedraza's catching a breather on the bench right now. Long three and nothing but nylon. Grace Meyer. Tell you what, she's been a little under the radar, but she's come up with big plays when they've needed them.
Yeah, she's come up with some big shots, played a great floor game overall.
Give her 9, and it's one and done at the other end for Tinora.
She comes away with that rebound.
Perez right back to her, and they're going to kick it back out. And here's where they'll run some offense and some clock at the same time. And Tinora has switched to a man-to-man defense. They get the ball in the high blocks. The referee gets rid of it. That's good ball movement. Little pinball action into the hands of Durfee. Plenty of time left in the fourth quarter here, but I was about to ask you if this is a must-score possession for Tinora. Coach Thiel, was he calling timeout there? What was the stoppage of play or the whistle for?
I think that's what the referee had thought, but he was just relaying commands to his team. It sounded like timeout, but nonetheless, it gives both teams an opportunity to make
smiling.
some substitutions.
He's giving him a little bit of a hard time. It sounds like timeout, so what does that mean? You have a set called Schmeimeout? I mean, what in the world sounds like timeout?
I'm not judging.
Oh, goodness. On the move. Good dribble penetration, and the ball bobbled a bit by Coy. She had a good look, and she knew it. Nice dribble drive, and hard to the iron with the left hand, and the iron has just been unkind to Nova Oakley tonight.
Yeah, I think when they look back at this film, win or lose, they realize how many points they left on the floor from inside 5 feet.
Yeah.
And, it hasn't been, they haven't shot a high percentage as they would have liked from that distance, but we have a long way to go in this one.
On the drive, ball swatted, Meyer. And it's into the hands of Coy. Quick outlet. Rams want to bring it up quickly. Oakley, bullet pass to the far corner. This is good ball movement. This time it's an open three, and it just won't fall. And again, quickly releasing his forward. Are they going to get down and make her earn it? Pump fake. No! Wow, that's tremendous by Addie Lee.
That's a 6th block for Lee in this ball game.
One and done, and Tinora hanging around with great transition D.
Well, they're trying to push the ball here, too.
Lee on the drive. This time it's forward that gets back, and it just won't fall. And you can see the frustration on Tenora's faces.
Got a long way to go in this ball game, though. You just got to keep attacking and stay with it. And, it's one of those things like when you sit to see 1 or 2 go, all of a sudden that can snowball for you in a positive way.
Still within arm's reach right now, only down by 5, but each offensive possession for Archbold, they're just patiently running offense and milking clock, and that's going to be a foul on Addie Lee.
And as we've seen in high school basketball now, the new rule this year with in terms of team fouls is they're gone to the college game.
Yes.
It's the college women's game. So the team fouls reset every quarter, and once you get 5, then you'll put if you have 5 team fouls, it'll put your opponent in the double bonus. No longer do we have the 1-and-1 situation of the past.
I've talked with Scoop Miller about this. I want to get your take as a former coach on it.
Do not like it.
It does affect the strategy.
Oh, 100% it does. Because number one, if you're behind, and you need to short, you need to lengthen the game and stop the clock, and you put the other team at the foul line with a one-on-one situation. They miss the front end, you get the ball back.
Yep.
That's gone because now it's 2 shots. It's automatic 2 shots, and also with the reset of the fouls, it allows you to be much more aggressive. Offensively and defensively at the start of the quarter. Nice shifty.
Tremendous ID that time by Carly Oakley, and those are her first points of any kind in this game.
And she comes in this game averaging just under 8 points a game too, so it's been tough for her offensively, but got that one to go. But I just don't, if you're, it just really, I think it really puts you at disadvantage if you're behind in the game, whether it's just a couple possessions or not. And you need to lengthen the game. You foul. You put a team on the line, and you stop the clock, and you make them make pressure free throws. That one-on-one situation is gone now. So I don't.
Oh, wow. Tremendous timing by Oakley as she swats that one away. Loose ball picked up by Lee. She threw it away, but I believe she was fouled before the turnover.
It's a good call by the official too, because it changed the course of the play and momentum. I'm curious. What did Scoop say about it?
Scoop, as usual, is somewhat political. Didn't want to offend either side. He said literally what it's going to do is force coaches to think about the game in a new way. So now you maybe don't necessarily attack. Speaking of attacking, Addie Lee right down the middle of the paint, and that time finishes with the right hand.
And it's back to a one-possession ball game.
Yep.
See, now Scoop, he might like it because Scoop, when he coached, he usually was winning. He didn't have to worry about putting teams to the line, hoping they miss free throws so he can get the ball back.
Pedraza won him done as Nova Oakley with the board.
Trust me, I've been on the opposite sideline of him, and
look, I
he
guess
knows what he's doing.
It depends. If you've got a team of good free throw shooters, you love it, right? As from 3, a chance to give him the lead. It was a good look by Carly Oakley, nothing doing. And again, Archbold's so good at releasing, but the pass was low off the shins up forward. And then Tinora throws it away again. Just a little too rushed. Under 3. Low blocks. Garicki, tough move. And nobody boxes out. Boy, Tinora dodging a bullet. And now Coach Theo wants a timeout. We will take a First Insurance Group timeout as well. Nip and tuck. 2:40 left to go in this game. 1 point separating Archbold and Tinora. You're watching the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. We have officially hit crunch time. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this ball game. Opening game of the opening night of the DPT Classic. Defiance Physical Therapy sponsoring this tournament. It really is a nice showcase of area basketball.
Well, you're in the best gym in Northwest Ohio. This Defiance.
Dog pound,
We've
baby.
seen a lot of gyms over our time and across northern Ohio, and this is state of the art. This is the creme of the creme,
yep,
if you will. And
there are a lot of Division III colleges that don't have a gym this nice. Seat backs just about everywhere with the exception of one side of the gym where you've got the traditional bleachers. Tinora trying to retake the lead. They get an open look for 3 and maybe just a bit rushed. Julia Durfee. She had a good look and nobody was really closing out on her. Pedraza brings it across the timeline. Rams need a stop. Blue Streaks looking to pad a 1 point lead. And 5 seconds the call. That is just tremendous defense by Julia Durfee.
Great job by Durfee out front. Kept the ball handler in that 2x2 box and turned her and got the 5 count.
Bounce pass on the inbounds down the near side. Boy, it was right there, and Durfee didn't want it. Instead, she'll surrender it, and wow, Addie Lee just wasn't ready for the pass.
Just took her eyes off the ball. You know, before she had it. We talked about that earlier.
Well, coming out in full court pressure. Have to be careful you don't get beat. And that's a wise move by Meyer to back it out.
And that's great preparation, too, against that pressure. Get the ball diagonally to the middle of the floor. That frees up. That's like a pressure release. Now they can set up their offense and work to get a good shot.
But both these teams so well coached.
Yeah, they're very well coached, very well prepared. Played aggressive style. This has been a heck of a ball game. Heck of a ball game to watch.
And we still got 90 seconds left to go. 1 point differential on the drive, forward, swatted away, late whistle. And I believe Lee might be the guilty party for Tinora. We'll wait and see. It is Addie Lee with her second.
And I believe it's
team foul number 4.
Yeah, team foul number 4. It's going to obviously on the shot. It looks like forwards at the free throw line,
where she is 2 for 2 tonight. Make it 3 for 3.
Now she had the chance to make this the extreme one possession lead, meaning up 3, would take a 3 to tie ya.
Second is on the way. Good rotation. Man, there is just something silky smooth about her game. I would say Jiffy Smooth, but we don't have them as a sponsor. So.
Calm, cool, and collected in a pressure situation.
Under control. No rush. You don't see any signs of panic or anything. As a matter of fact, you take a good look on our Zoom camera there. Both teams' huddles. You don't see either team really showing a lot of emotion right now. I think that's probably a good extension of their coaches.
They're locked in. You know, they're locked in. They're listening to the instructions of their coaches. But let's look at the tail of the tape a little bit. You know, with that new, we talked about the new team foul rule that resets each quarter. Right now, Tenora's committed 4. So in any common foul, Archbold is going to go to the foul line and shoot 2 free throws. Archbold only committed 1 foul. Now, what that allows them to do is be really aggressive on the perimeter because they're in no way, shape, or form in harm's way of putting Tinora at the free throw line on common fouls. You look at timeouts. Archbold, 4 timeouts left. Tinora, just 1. So we'll see how that comes into play. When we look at the possession arrow, it favors the Blue Streaks of Archbold.
So right now Archbold kind of sitting in the driver's seat. Well, this is just game 1 of tonight's doubleheader. You saw Ayersville on an earlier camera shot. 4-0. The Pilots will be taking on the host Bulldogs. Coach Leroy Lewis, we had a chance to talk with him earlier tonight. They're looking for their first win of the season. Well, I was going to say token pressure, but nope. What do we got here? 2-1-2?
Little.
Well, it was a man-to-man.
Man-to-man. They just didn't guard the inbounder.
Hustling into the front court. Oakley slows it down. Playing catch with Durfee. Lee in the near corner. Driving baseline. Good rotation on the help. Ball is loose. Ball is stolen away. Tough turnover. Releasing Meyer. Can she track it down? It's a heads-up play not to force a shot when she was underneath the backboard. And now at what point, if you're Tinora, do you foul? They're getting up into the jerseys, and a timeout going to be called by Coach Ziegler.
And that's the advantage of having those 4 timeouts in your back pocket. You can be free in terms of using them. Good timeout as his ball handler was in trouble picking up her dribble.
We'll take a First Insurance Group timeout. 51 seconds left to go. Right now, Tinora down by 3 on DCTV Sports. 51 10 seconds left to go in regulation. It's right now still a 1-possession game, but the Blue Streaks own a 3-point lead. They have the possession arrow, and they have the basketball. At what point, if you're Tinora, do you foul?
Well, I think you want to try to get a steal here or maybe even a trap. But if you can't get that, then perhaps, you foul, try to lengthen this game, as much as possible. It's a 1-possession game, but it's a 1-possession game where you have to get a 3 to just a tie. So I'm going to try to get a steal. I'm going to try to get a trap. And if I don't get that, then I'm going to foul and try to lengthen this game as much as possible.
Well, Tinora allows Grime to take the inbounds uncontested. They'll spread it out, and oh, look at this. Quick hands. Blanchard, coast to coast, and misses the bunny. Oh, that would have made a huge difference. And now Tenora's got a foul.
Well, they got what they wanted. They got the steal and score opportunity, didn't cash in, and now Grace Meyer's going to go to the free throw line. 36 seconds left, trying to make this a two-possession ball game, and a two-possession lead seems like a 10-point lead at this point.
Well, Meyer back to the charity stripe.
With the way both defenses have been able to play at a high level.
She is now 5 for 5 from the charity stripe, and that one was important because it's now a two-possession game.
No, and I think, too, Archbold might go a little token 2-2-1, 1-2-2, three-quarter court, just to try to slow down Tinora, and we have a timeout.
We'll take one as well. The First Insurance Group timeout. 36 and 3/10 seconds left to go in this one. Don't you go anywhere. We're back on DCTV Sports. You see the scoreboard there, 36 and 3/10 second left to go in regulation. Archbold up 47-42. Tinora with the ball. Brent Balvin alongside Rhett Boyd. We've got the second half of tonight's nightcap. About 15 minutes after the finish of this one, as Defiance will take on Ayersville in the Defiance Physical Therapy Classic, the DPT Classic. And as expected, some token pressure right now by the Blue Streaks. But if you're Tinora, you're down 2. You don't need a 3 this trip down the court.
No, but you got to get to the basket quickly here and obviously convert.
And they're forcing the ball east-west. Precious seconds ticking off the clock. Key cut off baseline. Somebody's got to move, and the suffocating defense around the perimeter is taking huge time off this clock, and it may end up in a turnover. Jump ball the call, and it will be Archbold basketball.
So that was one heck of a defensive possession to contain the ball one-on-one. Great help, and you kept the ball on the perimeter going east and west like you mentioned, and you created the turnover.
Pedraza, and right now Tenora's got a foul with 10 seconds left. Boy, we talked about offense. We've talked about just a tremendous second half by Garicki and forward. But defense by Archbold, I think, might win the day tonight.
Well, how about free throw shooting? That's going to win the day for them.
16 for 16.
Doesn't get much better than that. Now we probably put too much pressure on Grace Meyer.
I don't believe in the broadcaster's jinx.
Well, there it is.
First miss of the evening for Archbold. They are now 16 out of 17. And I think she's going to make this one. Takes a little more time, releases the pressure off of her shoulders. It's pure.
Nostradamus, you are.
Yep. 17 out of 18 from the line. I don't care what level you're playing at, but especially at the high school level, that is excellent. 6 seconds. They're still continuing to press. Ooh, my. Hitting her head on the deck. Blanchard. Oh, boy, she's sitting forward, but that popped up, bounced off the hardwood, and this place has become as quiet as a library.
Yeah, her feet just slipped. She slipped, and her feet came out from underneath her forward.
Oh, boy. And
she's getting up right now. That's a good sign.
She is, but there's no way she's going to stay in this game. Concussion protocol, and hopefully that young lady is okay.
Yeah, she looks... It's good to see her up on her feet, moving on her own without any assistance. But what a win for Archbold. Let's talk about this team again. We kind of talked about in the open. They were 9-14 last year. They lost their top 3 scorers. They had 4 returners. The one returner with the most points coming back
didn't play tonight.
So And all you did is come in and beat a Tinora team that had 4 returning starters with a very balanced offensive attack, and you find a way to come away with a 6-point win here in the opening game of this tournament with a chance now to win a championship. Hats off to Coach Brian Ziegler and the job that the Blue Streaks were able to put forth here this evening.
48-42 in what was really just a tremendous opening game to this season's DPT Classic. But we've got another one coming your way. What we're going to do first is take a quick First Insurance Group timeout. We will have the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. On the other end of this, you're watching DCTV Sports. The Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show is now underway for the first game of the Defiance Physical Therapy Classic. What a contest as Archbold holds off Tinora by a final of 48-42. Brent Balbinot alongside Rep Boyd. Man, where can we start here? Just a tremendous job by both teams. It really was kind of a shame that one had to suffer a loss, but with it, the Blue Streaks now 4-2 overall. The Rams fall to 2-2. Anything that stands out to you? I mean, we sat here and we talked about great defense, really played by both teams. Missed shots. And when I say missed shots, I mean missed layups. Yeah. You were guessing easily 20 points inside the 5-foot mark by Tinora. If you're Andrew Thiel, it's about finishing your shots.
Yeah, I think when they watch the film, they're going to really like the shots that they were able to get. But you said it. They just didn't finish it with a high enough efficiency rate and inside of 5 feet. And I think when they look at that, they're going to kick themselves and want to have a lot of those shots back. But give Archbold a lot of credit. I thought for them, they just were able to persevere the longest in this ball game. But give a lot of credit to one particular area, free throw shooting. 17 of 18 for the game. You know, and that was the difference in coming away with a big 6-point win here. They were outstanding defensively, and offensively they were able to attack the rim, get to the line, and cash in, and then had some timely shots from the perimeter.
For the Blue Streaks, if I told you no bench points, you probably wouldn't think balance. But amongst the 5 starters, there was plenty of it. 3 in double figures. Led by Charlie Forward, 18 points, 10 of those coming in the second half. 14 for Miley Garicki. And how about this? A very quiet 12 for Grace Meyer. You round out a deuce apiece for point guard Lana Pedraza and center Noah Grime. But this really was a team victory.
It really was. And I just take your hats off to Coach Ziegler because, you know, I've been in those situations where you're in a rebuild, and it's not easy, you know, and sometimes you know that you're taking, you know, your goals are they're short goals that you're trying to obtain, you know, with the big picture down the road. And for this team to go 9-14 last year, you lost your top 3 scorers off of that team. Again, you returned 4 this year, 4 returners off the varsity from last year. The one that had the most points coming back didn't play tonight. So where is your offense going to come from? But man, 3 in double figures.
We're seeing it.
Yeah, 3 in double figures. Like you mentioned, they've had players really step up here early in the season, and consequently, they're 4-2, just beat a really good Tinora team. They got to have a lot of confidence right now moving forward.
We're going to take one more break in our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. When we come back, we've got one piece of unfinished business before we get down to brass tacks and game number 2 tonight. It'll be our Stikeman Automotive Group Player of the Night. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with more on DCTV Sports. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show continues. Brent Balbinot alongside Rhett Boyd. Game number 1 of the DPT Classic is in the books, and it did not disappoint as Archbold holds off Tinora by a final of 48-42. So they are in the winner's bracket. The only question is, who will they play tomorrow night for a championship? Glad you asked. Why don't you stick around, because we've got the second half of tonight's nightcap up as the host Bulldogs of Defiance will host the unbeaten Ayersville Pilots, 0-5 versus 4-0. Before we get to that, let's finish off one last piece of business before we close up the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. We've got the Stikeman Automotive Group Player of the Game. There were plenty that we could have chosen from, but Rhett, really one stood out more than any other.
Yeah, I thought Charlie Forward, for Archbold, number 10, did an outstanding job here tonight. Double figures on the offensive end, and she was at or near a double-double with double-digit rebounds on the defensive end. She got out in transition as well. Just all around played an excellent game on both ends of the floor, well-deserving of this honor.
Charlotte Forward, we had her for 18 points, including a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. We did not have rebound statistics, but we are fairly confident she had a double-double this evening. So congratulations going out to her, our Stikeman Automotive Group Player of the Game. We're going to take a quick timeout. We will be back to preview the Bulldogs and the Pilots. Don't you go anywhere. It's the second game, night number 1, game number 2 of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. And we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. Defiance High School Gymnasium. Brent Balbadon alongside Rhett Boyd. Night number 1, now game number 2 of this season's DPT Classic. We thank Defiance Physical Therapy for putting on a fantastic tournament. Kind of a feel about the postseason in the preseason here. And our first game did not disappoint as Archbold stays in the winner's bracket via a big win over Tinora by a final of 48-42. Now in game number 2, the hosts, led by first-year head coach Leroy Lewis, the Bulldogs at 0-5, looking for their first win of the season, taking on the Ayersville Pilots at 4-0. Tim Nicely in his 5th season at the helm for that squad. And we'll continue here with the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show with a quick synopsis here. But, man, this is interesting. We talked with both coaches before tonight's tournament got started. Leroy Lewis talked about stacking positive days together. He used a phrase in the preseason interview with the local paper, The Crescent, saying there's a new energy in the building, but that's also requiring some patience.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's starting pretty much from scratch. When you look at this Defiance team, they were 2-22 a season ago, and over the course of the last 3 years, they're 8-61. You know, let's just say it, they were at rock bottom, right? So Coach Lewis comes in, new energy. At the same time, a lot of teaching needs to be done, trying to lay that foundation that can be sustainable over a long period of time. He says the girls have been great. They've been extremely coachable, and they are incrementally getting better. It's just something that has to continue. So when he says we got to stack days together on a positive note, that's exactly what they're doing here. And it's a tough task here tonight against Ayersville, but it's one that they accept freely.
We will break down Ayersville in just a second here, but we've got 60 seconds. All right, so they added another 60 seconds. So in 50 seconds, Ayersville is a team built to win now, and that's despite graduating Neva Sheets, who was second-team All-Conference last season, went on to Division III Anderson. But Allie Schindler, first-team All-Conference at 13-7 coming back. Mabel McGuire at 3-2. Kirsten Mannon at 3-2. And Taylor Kraft, who had a knee injury last year. She's an all-state volleyball player. She had to watch last season, but at 6 foot and a center, they've got another force inside this year.
They're balanced. You said it, Schindler at 13.5 points a game. The next four leading scorers are out that 7-point mark or a little more. They are balanced offensively. You said it. They're in a win-now mode, and they got a chance to win the semifinal game and get to the championship against Archbold.
Here are our Baker Schindler Company starting lineups, and there you see the Ayersville Pilots. And again, Mabel McGuire, we gave you her stats last season. Kirsten Mannon, Kendra Waldron, Allie Schindler, miss everything. First team All-Conference last season, averaged 13 points and 7 boards per game. And then Taylor Kraft, she as a sophomore rep, averaged 7 points, 8 boards, and 4 blocks per game. She missed last season due to a knee injury. She's going to play volleyball at the Division III level, but she's also going to be a force inside this season.
Yeah, and all she's done this year is she's right at that 7-point mark again, but now she's averaging 11.5 boards a game. What a welcome addition she is for Coach Nicely, coming back off that injury to give him some inside presence on both ends of the floor.
On the flip side, for the Bulldogs of Defiance, here are your starting 5. Bella Rawlinson, Samantha Hohenberger, who averages about 3 a game. Alexa Garcia, she brings a little bit of grit. Coach was talking about her being one of their better on-ball defenders. Kendallyn Krekel, we'll call her KK, and Olivia Brenner will round out the starting 5. But don't forget, Jamie Rollins off the bench. She dropped 20 in that loss to Wapakoneta. She was a transfer student coming in from the Columbus School District. She's got game, and we'll expect to see plenty of her tonight. Starting lineups are in the books. Again, courtesy of Baker Schindler Company. Defiance in their home whites with the blue lettering and numerals with the trim. Our officiating crew tonight, we've got a new trio: Zach Grosjean, Reyes Ramirez, and Mike McGuff. You're watching the DPT Holiday Classic, game number 2, night number 1. Brent Balbadon alongside Rhett Boyd. That's right, the Rhett Boyd. Our crew has been doing a fantastic job, though, this evening. We got to thank Alex Holst, Will Hancock, John Atkins, Josh doing a great job, too. I thought he was going to be doing the PA tonight, but he has been He's got a new toy to play with, ladies and gentlemen. They have sunk some money into this. And when we talk about equipment to bring you the best possible product, they are doing a great job here at DCTV.
I think when we look at this ball game, before we hit the jump ball here, when you look at this ball game, both these teams, although different in terms of experience versus youth, they want to play the same way. They want to push the basketball, get in transition, get downhill to the rim. Both of them like to press and try to speed up the opponent. So we'll see what gives here this evening.
Time now for the F&M Bank opening tip-off. In the center circle, it will be Brenner for the Bulldogs and Kraft for the Pilots. It actually looked like Brenner got the better part of that ball, but tipped it right to Ayersville. So man-to-man defense right now, or yes, it is. Waiting for the ball to drop below the free throw line to see the rotations. Ayersville have got good guards. As a matter of fact, they're just solid 1 through 5 across the board. Taking their time. Schindler. Popping out now. This is Kraft. Seeing her wearing that heavy knee brace. Well, that was a difficult pass to thread the needle on. Shot off the mark, and the rebound collected in the corner by Rowson. Rare fast break opportunity for the Bulldogs, and that shot looked like it might have clipped the side of the backboard. Quick outlet at the other end, and a fast break layup is up and good by Kendra Waldron.
Yeah, Kendra Waldron, she's one of those 4 players that averages 7 points a game coming into this one. They get out in transition and get an easy one.
Ayersville 4-0 on the young season, and they play strong defense, and there's a good example of it, tying up the ball out near half court. Jump ball will be the call. Defiance keeps the arrow. But through their first 4 games, Rhett, they are allowing, on average, just 28 points per contest to their opponents.
You do that through the course of a season, you're going to win a lot of basketball games.
I don't know how many games you're going to win scoring less than 30. How many have you won during your illustrious career?
I don't know. Probably count them on one hand.
Steele, look at this, and that's just smooth poetry in motion in the midcourt as Allie Schindler finishes with the right hand, and it's a quick 4-0 lead for the Pilots. Again, Coach Lewis saying he wants his team to attack. Don't stick. Another turnover. Open court. McGuire will go coast to coast, and she gets a little bit of a love tap from Bella Rollison.
Well, right now, Ayersville's done a really good job defensively. They forced a couple turnovers and a couple missed shots that allowed them to get out and run and push and get into some easy ones. It gets everybody into a rhythm and early momentum in this one, and they're off to a good start.
Deep breath. First one halfway down. It popped out, and then it's just what you call the shooter's touch as it finally rolls through for McGuire. When you think about what this team did last season, how much they lost, Neva Sheets, second-team all-conference. She averaged 4 assists per ball game. Double figures as this one trickles off the front of the iron. Ball kicks out. Quick movement. My goodness, they see the floor so well. Give McGuire the assist, give Schindler the basket, and it's a 7-0 lead.
And just good diagonal look to find Schindler on the weak side.
Red, in addition to Sheets, Kaylee Dockery averaged 11 points a game last year, so they had plenty to replace, and yet it looks like they're reloading. Another steal. Quick outlet. No whistle. Playing on as Schindler crashes the glass. Oh, great eyes. Great movement without the basketball by Mannon, and Coach Lewis wants a timeout.
Well, that's a sign of a veteran team. When you secure a loose ball, you get up, your eyes are up, you're looking diagonal. And they've been able to do that so far here for 3-4 possessions. They're out to an excellent, or a big-time 9-0 lead early.
Time for a First Insurance Group timeout. 5:45 showing in the first quarter. Right now, 9-0 Pilots on DCTV Sports. 5:45 showing on the first quarter clock. 9-0 Ayersville. The Pilots come into this one at 4-0. Defiance, the home team, looking to use a little home cooking to pick up their first win of the season at 0-5. But right now, defensive pressure causing turnovers and specifically points off of turnovers, right?
Yeah, and Defiance came out in their first half-court possession defensively. They were excellent in terms of their positioning, sealing gaps, and keeping the ball on the perimeter. Unfortunately, it was the only possession so far they've been able to defend in the half court because Ayersville, like you said, has been able to turn turnovers and missed shots into transition opportunities.
There's another turnover. What does that make now?
5.
5 in the early going. Oh, what excellent passing and unselfish play. McGuire could have taken the layup. Instead, on the secondary break, Waldron had the better angle, and they score. Defiance trying to get the ball inside. Knocked off of number 42. That's Carolyn McDonald, who's checked into the ball game. What do we got here?
Well, man, it's man-to-man.
They're just running kind of a flat, I want to say a pack line, but it looked kind of like it.
The offensive set's a 1-4 flat on the baseline. That's why it looked like it was flattened out a little bit.
Look at this. Quick hands by Rollins, who's checked into the game. She gives it up. Boy, lots of contact and a late whistle.
Now, Rollins is an impact player.
Yes.
Young sophomore coming in off of the bench. You mentioned it in the open, 20 points against Wapakoneta. She's averaging about 8 points a game. And she's a spark plug, both on the offensive end and defensive end. So you see her making her presence known defensively here, coming in off that Bulldog bench.
Rollison at the charity stripe, trying to put the Bulldogs on the scoreboard, and she does. First one splits the nylon. Well, Defiance graduated so much talent from a season ago, not the least of which, honorable mention, Mia Horvath, 14-7. And 3 steals a game. That's a lot to replace no matter what roster you're on.
Now a little 2-2-1 pressure here by Defiance.
Trying to pressure the basketball, and look at that. Rollins just happened to be Johnny on the spot, but how smooth was that to track it down and pick up the dribble and bring it across court.
Does a great job, just back pursuit.
Great crossover. She does get stripped. That's the kind of play that becomes infectious with your teammates, doesn't it?
No, it does, because when you see her come in with the energy that she plays with, you said, you know what, I better step my game up, because I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. And you know, she's a young sophomore. She's been with the team for about a month after moving from the Columbus area, like you mentioned, and Coach Lewis talked about just how the girls have accepted her and are excited to play with her.
Great pick and roll. Wasn't quite ready. McDonald didn't square. I don't think she was anticipating the pass. And it's another turnover. Schindler across half court. Nice movement without the basketball. Mannon, again, another extra pass. Even though that kind of rolled up Taylor Craft's knees, she was still strong enough to corral it and lay it in.
And that's because of her ability to move without the basketball. She didn't stand and watch like a spectator. She was moving, and she got rewarded for her efforts. Johnny on the spot on that catch and finish.
Rollins dishes off. Rollison driving baseline. Nice wraparound pass. Shot blocked away, and I know Krekel wasn't happy with that, but that was good ball movement. That's the best offensive trip down the court so far tonight by Defiance.
Yeah, it really was. It was a nice drive on the baseline, and Krekel respaced and got her hands on the basketball, but just couldn't finish.
KK, as they call her, will inbound. Nice look down low. Shot short by McDonald, still staying with it. Not quite squared up, Rollison, but again, staying with it. That's great hustle, laying out, scrum for the ball, and the arrow points to the Pilots. You can't fault the effort.
No, great effort early. That's what you want to see if you're Coach Lewis with a young team. You're trying to establish the foundation, and that starts with effort and attitude, and then you'll work on the skills in the execution. That will come, but if you got effort and a good attitude, those are your building blocks. Those are your foundational pieces.
Wow. Mannon thought about a pass. Instead, stepped back and took a sweet-looking J. All 5 starters in the scoring column right now for the Pilots, as Rollins trying to take this one over, and she draws the contact on the shot. I believe, well, we'll wait and see. It's number 11, yep. Lainey Sheets picking up her first. Team foul number 2 for the Pilots. Rollins at the charity stripe. That's that one a little bit short. Rollins listed at 5'6". Now from where we're sitting, maybe it's just the elevation on the mezzanine, but she looks like she might be the certainly the better part of that, maybe a little bit taller as she drains her second. And at just a sophomore, take a look at her shoe size. I think she's got some growing in her, don't you?
Oh, yeah, good job getting the ball in the middle of the floor against that pressure. It gives you numbers on the back end.
Great weak side job, but that one's short. And again, crashing down the middle. Kraft can't find it. Third time's a charm, this time by Mannon. And Coach Lewis wants a timeout at the 2:57 mark. All Pilots right now, 17-3. We'll take a quick timeout. You're watching DCTV Sports. .257 showing on the first quarter clock as we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. Brent Balvin alongside Rhett Boyd. Ayersville 17, Defiance 3. We've got a substitution. Olivia Brenner, who started the ball game at center, has checked back in for the Bulldogs. Sets a nice screen. That might have been a little too unselfish by Rollins as she dished it off. It was tapped, and now she's going to go to work. Oh, what a great move. That was two great moves. A little hard off the square. Brenner trying to get after it, and it's out of bounds off of Defiance.
Yeah, nice spin move coming off that ball screen there. And I think as she continues to grow and develop, that'll be a jump stop finish at the front of the rim just to maintain your balance. Now, again, 2-2-1 pressure here by Defiance. Look, they don't care what the score is. They're gonna try to play the right way and try to speed up this team and create some turnovers and get out in transition.
Wow, that's great movement without the ball. That's a great job to keep your head up. They just are always in the right position, and this time it's going to Ariel Brown, who's checked into the game.
Anytime you can utilize both sides of the floor, especially with getting the ball to the middle, you're going to create some good looks for yourself. And Ayersville's been able to get point-blank shots at the rim the majority of this first quarter.
2 minutes left to go here first quarter. 16-point lead for the Pilots. They've been firing on all cylinders basically since the opening whistle. Sheets releases. Movement without the ball. She pops back out. Doesn't get the roll. Nice job by Rollison on the backside. Whoa, that pass just a little high to Hohenberger. And Rollins knows it. She's pointing at herself, saying that was kind of half no look, half French pastry, as Al McGuire used to say. But it needs to find its intended target. It was a bit high. Rollins might be French pastry, but Ayersville 1 through 5 on the court is pretty much meat and potatoes. That pass was a little hot, but the rest of the Bulldogs kind of got caught watching there. Hohenberger tried to save it. She made great hustle. She's staying good defense, cutting off the baseline, forces the turnover. And the arrow, we have a foul or is it a jump ball? I'm waiting for one official to make the signal. Baseline official
ball.
Says jump ball. That started with Hohenberger cutting off the baseline.
The Ayersville stays within their man-to-man defense here. Good quick hands.
Stolen away. 1-on-2, and sometimes discretion's the better part of valor. McGuire backs it out. Olivia Brunner was going to make her pay for that if she tried. Under a minute left to go in the quarter. Waldron releases. Well, the Pilots are not taking the air out of the ball. They are running offense here, but they're being extremely patient.
And Defiance did a good job of jamming the cutters.
Yep.
As well.
Oh, wow, great feed down low, and that's just tough post on tough post. Addie Zartman is now in the books.
Yeah, good job, just one-on-one inside. You said it. Defender was square, but still Zartman's able to get the ball up and down off the window.
Rollins, nice up and under move, but the iron's unkind. She strips the ball from behind, and with 10 seconds left, again, a one-handed pass, maybe a little too aggressive. Jump ball, Pilots possession.
Situational basketball here. Ayersville gets a chance to have a side-out situation with 4 seconds left.
We will have a substitution here for the Bulldogs. That is number 11, Kendeline Krekel checking back in as the shot is done, and that will do it for the first quarter of action. 21-3, Pilots firing on all cylinders. We'll have the second quarter after this first Insurance Group timeout. You're watching DCTV Sports. Second 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock as we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. And there you take a look at the scores table. Tell you what, those are unsung heroes down there. We've talked about coaches at this level. It takes a lot of people to put on a game. There you go. Dan, all smiles down there. I think he told me he was doing this one for 21 years.
No, I think it's great because the guys that like to do it keeps them in the game. It keeps them in the center of the action.
Sure.
But if you're an athletic director, it is hard to fill those spots, your game day personnel.
Yep.
And if you got the people who want to do it year in, year out, it's a welcome sight. And, people in gyms all across, northern Ohio that gives their time and effort because, trust me, they're doing it. It's volunteer.
Absolutely.
It's volunteer or very, very little compensation for it.
It's a public service. As a long three, that was a good look, but a little long by Garcia. Offensive board kicked out, and who wants it? Loose ball. Good job to get back defensively off the noggin of Eliza Ramirez. Tell you what, Defiance is asking for no quarter, and they're giving none. You wouldn't think this is a 21-3 ball
No,
game.
and that's what Coach Lewis talked about. And this is the foundation. He talked about attitude and effort. They are certainly giving max effort here. You got to be happy with their competitiveness. Right now they just had a hard time keeping control of the basketball. Too many turnovers has led to 11 transition points for Ayersville here early in the second quarter.
Keeping her dribble. Nifty job by Schindler and a tremendous pass down low to Kraft.
Yeah, Kraft just did her work early, got a deep seal inside. So all she do is catch and turn over the shoulder and lay it in.
20-point lead. Just underway here, second quarter. Good feed into the high blocks. Good aggressive move by Chloe Seiler, but into the teeth of a 6'1", and again, it's 6'1", but the arms for Kraft are so long. And a defensive breakdown by Defiance as they don't get back. Lainey Sheets beats everybody down the court. Collins slowing it down. I like this. I know that Coach Lewis wants them to run, but sometimes you got to catch your breath.
Well, you want to run when the numbers are there, but if they're not, then you have to, you want to have the decision making to pull it back out and set your offense up, and that's what Rollins was able to do there. Now it's just a matter of trying to find a crease, get it, get some dribble penetration inside, and get a high quality look.
Well, they got it into the high blocks, but turning into the good help side defense. The steal by Waldron. Whoops. Well, what were we saying about giving no quarter and asking for none? That foul's going to go against Ramirez. Just foul number 1 here in the quarter. If you didn't catch our opening broadcast, Rhett Boyd giving his editorial on the new free throw rules for the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Well, it's an adoption of the women's college basketball rule from over the last couple of years, is where the fouls reset after each quarter.
Yep.
And so on the 15th foul in each quarter, the opponent will shoot 2 shots. The 1-and-1 has been eliminated from the game here on the female side.
Rollins, nice spin move. Ramirez can't find the range. Nice rebound underneath.
That's on the men's side, too. It's both at the high school level.
25-5. Getting it down low and going to the line. Allie Schindler. Well, since I asked you in the first game, I'll ask you again in the second game. I know you are not a particular fan of the new free throw rules this year.
I don't, I think from what I've heard, they've done it to increase
Speed
pace
up
of
the
play,
game.
fluidity, and all of that. But at the same time, if you're a coach in that sideline,
And you're trying to extend the game.
yeah, you don't care about fluidity. In terms of pace of play. You want to put your team in the best position to be successful. So my point is this: I think it hurts a team that might be down a couple of possessions in a ball game where you need to lengthen the game. The adage of fouling, put somebody at the free throw line in a one-on-one situation, in a pressure free throw situation. If they miss, you get the ball back and you have a chance to come back and convert on the other end. That's lost now because every time you foul, on the 15 foul and beyond, you're giving them 2 shots.
Which in effect takes away from speeding up the game, correct? You, in effect, lengthen the game, but for a completely different reason.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, look, it's one of those deals like should there be a shot clock in high school basketball? And, you're going to get, some people say they would love to see it. Some people say you don't. I think this new rule that they've changed is, it's set in the same way. It's a 50-50 deal. I just, for someone who's, needed to lengthen the game, at times, I just love having the 1-on-1 there because it allows you to have some strategy.
Yes.
Late in the ball game, especially when you're down.
Scrum for the ball, jump ball the call. Pilots possession. So we approach the 5-minute mark here in the second quarter. Rollins really trying to stay in the jersey of Schindler. Whoops, that pass a little high. Look, I'll tell you what, offensively they might be struggling right now, but what's the old phrase? Defense always travels, and right now Defiance is bringing some attitude on that edge of the court.
Yeah, they got some quickness, and they're doing a very good job of positioning on the perimeter, and they have not allowed dribble penetration within the half-court set.
Well, Rollins takes some contact and a late whistle, and I believe this one's going against Schindler.
And that's something you can build on if you're Coach Lewis. We're competing, we're giving great effort, and we're defending the perimeter extremely well. Now, where they've been hurt is in transition. They haven't been able to get back and get their defense set up at times, and transition baskets have really hurt them as a result of 11 turnovers so far here in the first half.
Garcia checks out. Checking in, I believe that's Alexander Fernandez is at number 33. Long 3, no good. Still battle for the board. Jump ball, and Defiance will keep it. Well, only 3 seniors on this roster. So again, a young team going through some growing pains. Nice post up down low, and Hohenberger made a strong move. It swatted out of bounds. You tell her to make that same move every time she's down there.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You just want to utilize a head fake when you got the taller Taylor Craft, in the vicinity, trying to defend and block the shot. See if you can get that defender up in the air and then get to the free throw line.
Yeah, they'll back it out.
A 2-3 zone now for Ayersville.
Whoops, a little loose with the pass, the one-handed baseball pass. That was kicked out of bounds. Get a good look at our scoreboard. Got the nice digital one just off to our left. One dribble, backing it out. Dangerous cross-court pass, and we got a foul.
Yeah, we got a push on the backside.
It's going to go against Ramirez. It's her second. Team foul, should be team foul number 1. Actually, that's going to be Ramirez's third. Dangerous pass into the post, tipped away, stolen away. Ramirez wants to run. Boy, she got tripped up just a little bit. Nice dribble penetration, but one pass maybe too many. Stolen away, and here comes Sheets. That's good transition defense by the freshman Seiler. Defensively right now, and I know they're down 27-5, but especially in the second quarter here, Defiance has looked a little bit more intensive, a little bit more aggressive.
Well, they've been able to get back. They haven't given up nearly as many transition points, so they've been able to get back and get their defense set up. With, like we said before, when they've been able to set up, they've applied good pressure.
They're physical.
And they've kept the ball on the perimeter.
Problem has been turnovers and easy baskets in transition, and then like that, missing
Yeah,
help side defense.
Well, they're not handling the screen very well. They're not jamming the cutter, and the cutter just coming through clean for an easy catch and finish.
Speaking of trying to finish down low, tough post move by the young freshman, Seiler. Foul going against Walden, her second. Seiler will head to the charity stripe for a pair. Well, we were somewhat tongue-in-cheek talking with Coach Lewis, all these underclassmen. He said, scratch a couple freshmen. He goes, a couple won't play tonight as this first one goes back in. And I looked at him and I said, only 3 seniors? What a load of sophomores here. 1, 2, 3, 4 freshmen. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just said, are we looking at the future of Defiance girls basketball? And he said, yes.
Yeah, and like I said, you're not only are you being a new coach, you're establishing your program and your foundation and what your base principles are, and then you're doing it with a lot of underclassmen. They have not played a lot of basketball, so again, it's a learning process. Again, they're just taking it one day at a time, trying to get one day better and just improve. Each and every day, whether it's in practice or a game, and hope to just continue to get better as the season goes on.
Open look for a 3. Hohenberger thought she had it. Nothing doing. 31-5, and again on the transition. Whoa, and that's why you continue to hustle and get back. Nothing's ever guaranteed. Rollins into a second gear, and she's taking on all comers. That foul's going to be on the floor. And if that's Waldron, that's her third.
Waldron, yeah, it was a frustration foul there. She missed the layup, hustled back, and just had 2 hands on the hips of Jamie Rollins, and that's an automatic call every time. You might get away with it, maybe the 1 on the hip, but you got 2. It's automatic.
Third team foul. Inbounds. Rollison.
A little 1-2-2 here.
Yeah, just trying to survey the new defense.
I've seen 2-3, 1-2-2. We've seen man.
Open look, deep 3, and the draperies swish for Samantha Hohenberger.
Yeah, she's one that's made a lot of progress over the course of the offseason from one season ago to this year. So that's a good sign. Coming off the baseline, curling up to the wing, getting those feet set and drilling it.
That is a Premier Bank 3-pointer. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, in my book, that's the first of the night for either team. This one around the world kicks out. Still staying with it, and a whistle. Zartman so strong down low.
Yeah, he did a great job just staying with it, just being tenacious on the offensive glass, and now getting a chance to get to the free throw line.
Addison Zartman, 6'1" junior. 2 points already on the evening. Deep crouch, comes springing up, and just a little long. She'll get another. And that one almost banked in. Loose ball, who wants it? You know it's your night when you get that board.
Yeah, Laney Sheets able to run that ball down.
Zartman low blocks again, tries to muscle up. It is physical underneath the cylinder. Foul against Mannon. That'll be her first.
Yeah, now we only got 1:39 left in the quarter, but both teams you see on the board there, 4 team fouls. So in the event one of them commits another common foul, then that's when you're going to see that new rule go into place where the opponent will go to the line and shoot 2 free throws. It's almost like you're automatically in the double bonus from what you're used to in previous years in terms of getting 2 shots.
All right, now Rollison in no hurry, although she has picked up her dribble about 28 feet away and throws it away. The outlet. Oh, wow, nifty move, and that really was an odd angle. That was a tough shot made to look easy by Laney Sheets. And Coach Lewis doing some coaching right now. First he's saying get across the timeline, but he's telling Rollison.
Good ball movement there.
Good look. Little long. Nice weak side rebound, though, by Fernandez.
And against the zone, you want to be able to get the ball side to side and stretch that zone out. That was good ball reversal. Now here's an open look from the top.
Oops, that doesn't catch anything, and that will be a turnover. 52 and 7/10 seconds left to go in the first half. Well, one score we can let you know about on our Marco's Pizza scoreboard. It came in game 1 tonight. 48-42. Archbold knocked off Tinora. Nice quick hands by Seiler that time. And they're getting handsy on her, and she was clearing out. Young freshman trying to establish a little presence. And the arrow points to the Pilots. Up top, thinking about the three instead of the running one-hander, and that is going to go out of bounds off the air ball, last touched by Ella Kilgallen, who's checked in. If that was a good Irish name, Kilgallen, I think would probably be toward the top of the list. 23 seconds left, and it looks like Defiance is going to take some air out of the basketball.
We talked about you want to move the ball. Ooh, there's a steal.
Up. Not a sharp pass, stolen away. It's a 2-on-1. That's how you finish a break. Laney Sheets with 6 points on the evening.
Good job, Laney Sheets running the floor. Then good unselfish play. 2-on-1 basketball. Got another steal.
Oh my! Another turnover. Half-court shot. It's about the only thing that hasn't fallen for Ayersville so far tonight. Both clubs will head to their respective locker rooms. Pilots in command over Defiance, 35-8. We'll take a quick break. We will be back with your Mark Moats Ford stat summary as part of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching DCTV Sports. Oh, we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. Brent Balbinot along the socially media adept
Trying
Boyd
to keep up with
Absolutely.
social media.
It's time for the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. And let's take a look at your Mark Moats stat summary through the quarters. Let's start with turnovers, because that's really where the Pilots have made a living.
Yeah, it really did. They were able to utilize their defense and their defensive pressure to create 15 turnovers in the opening half, and that allowed them to get double-digit points in transition as a result of it and blow this game wide open early, in this contest.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your scoring this evening. First, for Defiance, leading the way with a three-pointer, Samantha Hohenberger. That just before the end of the half. After that, 2 points for point guard Bella Rowlandson, 2 points off the bench for Eliza Ramirez, and 1 of 2 from the line for Jamie Rollins. On the flip side, balance and then some for Ayersville. All 5 starters in the scoring books, but they also have 10 bench points. Leading the way, 8 points for Allie Schindler, first team all-conference a season ago, and that was balanced. She got 4 in the first quarter, 4 in the second quarter. 6 points for Kirsten Mannon, and then 6 points also for Kendra Waldron. 4 points for starting center Taylor Kraft, 1 point for starting point guard, 1 for 2 from the line in Mabel McGuire. But off the bench, a half a dozen points for Lainey Sheets, 2 for Ariel Brown, and 2 for backup center Addison Zartman. You take on the first 16 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's kind of what we saw on paper coming in. You got a veteran team with a very balanced scoring attack in Ayersville against a very young and inexperienced team in Defiance, and this kind of that had played out. You know, we talked about the turnovers, double-digit turnovers for Defiance led to double-digit transition points for Ayersville, but it's really impressive, that balance of Ayersville, because coming into this game, Schindler averaged double figures, and he had 4 players averaging 7 points or more, and that's really kind of what that offensive output in the first half showed, that these guys really share the ball extremely well. They get everybody involved, and when that happens, you get into a great rhythm as a result of it, and they are in one here this evening.
Again, 35-8. Pilots with the lead over the Bulldogs. More of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. Well, the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show rolls on as we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. 4.5 minutes before we rejoin this one, second half action. It is day number 1, game number 2 of the DPT Classic. Defiance Physical Therapy putting on a tremendous tournament. I mean, it's basically a 4-team, 2-night tournament. Kind of gives you a little bit of that postseason feel in the non-conference. But right now, you're still building. Yeah. Neither of these teams, regardless of what the score is or what the records are anywhere close to being a finished product. So here's where we ask our coach to get in the head of the other coaches. Let's start with Leroy Lewis. Obviously, there's no such thing as a 27-point basket. But what are you telling your team? What do you want to see to start quarter number 3?
You're coaching them. You're coaching them as if this game was a 2-point game. And what I mean by that is, number one, you're being positive, being encouraging, and you're setting incremental goals for yourself. Always like, if I was down big at the half, I always like to take this game and say, look, every 4 minutes, I mean, we want to try to win every 4 minutes, and let's see if we can win each of those segments, you know, within a half, and build from there. And you know, that kind of keeps everybody's, you know, mindset positive. But I think when you look at it, one thing he can really hang his hat on is the energy and the effort level of his team has been there. Regardless of the score, it's been there. When they've been able to be in the half court defensively, they've done a pretty good job on the perimeter of keeping the ball out of the lane. They got hurt with some screening action a little bit, not jamming cutters, but overall a pretty good job. They've just been hurt on the offensive end, taking care of the basketball, which is allowing transition opportunities. That's why this lead is what it is. But I think it's something that you can point to and say, look, let's take care of the basketball, continue to get downhill, continue to share the ball when the defense collapses, and take your shot. You know, we can live with the results and go from there. And defensively, just, you know, keep playing your butt off because you're doing a good job. And just keep at it. And like I said, let's try to win every 4 minutes.
On the flip side, if you're Tim Nicely, clearly you are in command. He's gone deep to his bench, as many as 5 deep off the bench. What are you working on? What do you want to see?
My number one, I want to make sure that we are sharp mentally, you know, as well as physically, more mentally than anything else. I'm going to say, look, you know, it is what it is. We want to come out here in the first 4 minutes of this quarter and really set the tone once again. And then as you start to work other players back into the lineup, you can go from there and expect the same effort out of them. Right now, you want to make sure you're mentally sharp and you're executing, at a high level and not just playing out the string.
35-8. We're a couple minutes away from resuming the second half. Right now, Defiance just coming out of the locker room to pick up a quick shoot-around. The pilots have been out for a couple minutes. We're going to take our final break of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Second half action when we come back on DCTV Sports. Final 20 seconds ticking off the clock here for the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Brent Balbinot alongside Rep Boyd. He couldn't help but stand up and dance with Kenny Loggins and the soundtrack from Footloose playing over the PA system here.
Is that Kevin Bacon, Footloose?
Kevin Bacon, yes.
Yeah.
You've played that game before, haven't you? 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I'm going to start with Josh Bush. How can we get 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon from DCTV's finest? He's not even giving us the look over here. He's saying, forget it.
He says, I'm dialed in. I'm concentrating
Dialed
on the
in
game.
as the next 8 minutes of this game are put up on the board. Defiance will have the ball. Is this a 2-3 zone here? Nope. Sagging man? Yes.
Yeah, they're just not guarding the post player coming out to set the ball screen. Keeping the defender in the lane for support.
Krekel thought about the drive, but elects to take it out. On the move here, Garcia. Back out near half court, Hohenberger. I think this is a direct command from Coach Lewis. Be a bit more patient. Work it. Just like that. Now, that shot got swatted, but that's a good look and good hustle, even though the loose ball is picked up in the near corner by Walden.
You got the ball. Your patient got the ball at the 8-foot mark. And if you can do that consistently, get some of those shots to fall, you'll see your efficiency rate climb.
Well, granted, I know the scout does make a difference, but two, you're not going to be facing very many 6'1" future volleyball players with the wingspan of Taylor Kraft. Spotting up, and speaking of which, that's off the mark. Weak side board and slowing it down. Nice job by Rollinson. Oh, nice screen. She's going to go all the way in. That was a well-executed play, and credit Brenner with setting up the screen.
Yeah, great screen to free up the ball handler there. Ayersville did not have very good communication coming off of that ball screen. It was a simple straight-line drive for a lay-in.
On the drive, Walden going baseline, releases. A little bit of congestion as Kraft will back it out. Right back into her into the high blocks. Spins right, spins left. Maybe one dribble too many. Nice hands by Brenner. And they're calling a jump ball. Pilots will inbound on the baseline. McGuire will do the honors. Oh, she threw it off the back of a defender. That is one of those cagey plays that you see on the highlight reels every now and then. She doesn't make the basket, but she will go to the line.
Used to use that play in the playground. Good
Wow.
instincts there. Having trouble getting the ball in. Good instincts, got established before she made contact with the ball.
At the line where she's 1 for 2 tonight, now make it 1 for 3.
We call that savvy, crafty.
High basketball IQ. Fill in the blank with whatever adjective you like. Gumption. 1 out of 2. 36-10. Defiance easing it across the timeline, and oops, Schindler with the steal. Schindler with the breakaway. Schindler with the spin. Schindler with the finish.
A nice mobility and agility there by Schindler. When you make that spin in traffic, you get off balance easily. But she's able to maintain, got a good base, able to maintain and finish.
Open for 3, left wing, doesn't catch anything. Hohenberger sized it up. She's got 1 to her credit tonight. Schindler will slow it down. Well, they're really taking their time. Off the screen, down the middle of the paint. Renner was there to alter the shot, but she does commit the foul. Walden to the stripe.
Good job by Walden. Comes out when you come off that screen, and she does a great job of it. You want to come shoulder to shoulder with your teammate there so the defender cannot get through. And that keeps the defender on your back. And that allows you to turn the corner and get downhill. And that's what she was able to do and get to the rim. What some players will do is they'll be a little impatient, and they'll take off before the screen is set and allows that defender to get through. Or when they come off of it, they don't come off shoulder to shoulder. The defender, if they're running, if they're tailing the, if they're fighting over the top of the screen, they can split that daylight and stay and level off and stay between you and the basket.
1 out of 2 for Walden. Makes it a 29-point lead as a nice stop and pop.
Garcia, I think that's her second made triple of the evening, if I'm not mistaken. It's her first.
Yep. Hohenberger had the other. 39-13 on the drive. Boy, muscling it up. Kraft with the board. She went up and came back down with it, and she knew it. That's a travel. So here's the question for you, and you so often hear coaches talk about this. When you jump out to just what seemingly is an insurmountable lead,
sure,
to keep your team's edge, it's easy to kind of maybe downshift a little bit, maybe take a mental lapse every now and then. If you're coached nicely, how do you keep them sharp?
Well, you emphasize it, and that's what I was talking about. What do you want to see coming out of halftime? It's exactly what I want to see coming out of halftime is just staying dialed in and mentally sharp and focused, and really work on execution. Because again, obviously, you're going to be in games where you're going to have to execute at a high level in tight games down the stretch. And now it's easier said than done when you're working with 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. And but you just try to drill it as much as possible, but also understand too they've worked to get this lead, and you want to make sure that you recognize that as well.
Like right there, and it's getting a little chippy. That was not a sharp pass. It leads to a turnover, and right now Coach Nicely's up putting his hands together, and right now I would say more imploring than demanding, get your heads locked back into this ball game. Defiance has made a mini run here.
What we talked about for Defiance, it's shorten the game. We said, win 4 minutes. Well, maybe you shorten to that. You said win every 2 minutes.
In an 8-minute quarter, yeah.
And see what you can do.
Well, they've done it so far, 7-4 to open up the third quarter here.
Well, you won the first 4 minutes.
Yep.
Now you're +1 for the second half.
Hohenberger getting a little bit more vocal, smacking her hands, wanting the ball, directing traffic, trying to tell players where to go. On the drive, Fernandez dishes off. Rollins can't find it. Whoa! And I will say this, Defiance is physical. You're going to be a little black and blue when you're done playing this team.
Yeah, like I said, they're behind in the game, but they're playing hard. And if you're Coach Lewis, first-year coach, that's the foundation. Let's face it, some teams that are facing this deficit, they're just going through the motions. They're just trying to get out of here as fast as possible. But these young ladies are continuing to compete, every possession, and you got to match that if you're Ayersville.
Long three off the mark. One and done. Strong weak side board by Fernandez, but they turn it over. And like right now, in the first half, you would have seen 5 gold jerseys sprint down the court. Only 3 did that time for the Pilots. Long jumper, no good. Offensive board kicked back out by Schindler. Pass. The ball movement was good there, but it was just a little high, and we've got a whistle.
Man, trying to hit that dive from the high post to the low post. Just, the pass has been a little bit too quick. Instead of letting the post player make the dive and get established, where they could catch it, catch it with a base and two hands.
39-15. Rollins sprints into the front court. Garcia on the drive. That's a good aggressive move.
We saw her knock down a three, right? So
Yep.
the defense is going to try to run her off of the arc, and she made a good read, put the ball on the floor, and took the mid-range.
Foul against Lainey Sheets. Garcia to the stripe. She's got 3 tonight. Remains that way.
We talk about they say the mid-range jump shot is a lost art.
Yeah.
We saw Charlie Forward for Archbold,
Yep.
make several of those in the opening game, and and you understand it because everything you see on TV now is long distance threes, and that's what
Yep.
you want to practice and perfect, or obviously layups. But if you can be that 3-level scorer and be just as efficient from the mid range, you're just gonna make yourself that much harder to guard.
Nice pass in the low blocks. That was a pretty move. Number one, a great job by Schindler to get the seal, and she went straight up. That was a sweet-looking jumper.
Good job there by Kraft inside to stay on the floor and just go straight up and down and contest without fouling.
2:15 left to go in the third quarter. A little bit of a dribbling exhibition by Schindler. Oh, she rolled, but they missed her. Largely because Sheets had problems collecting the basketball. Kraft pops out. And the Pilots in no rush here. Boy, look at that defense, though. Hohenberger coming out up top. That was a gamble. It could have just as easily been a steal, but instead, that's an easy lay-in.
Yeah, Rollins there, it's a help-to-helper situation. She recognized the fact that the girl underneath on the weak side doubled, and she's got to rotate down to that block, which is a half a step late. That's something you'll learn just as you gain experience.
Kraft comes away with it, outlets. Just over 90 seconds left to go in the quarter, and right now Schindler, one cool customer, will just kind of stroll into the front court. The youngster Rollins waiting for her. Dangerous telegraphed pass, loose ball. Kraft is there to pick it up, and Johnny on the spot. Give her the assist, as that one's good by Sheets.
She just played a nice game coming off that.
Oh,
that
my.
bench.
Kraft using that length with the swat. It stays in bounds. We're approaching the 60-second mark here in the third quarter. It's been, whoa, look at this. Rollins just puts on a clinic. She's going to go coast to coast, stops and pump fakes. That gave the defense time to recover, and Kraft with, what is that, her third or fourth block of the night?
Yeah, I think it's their fourth block. Kraft, good job getting back in the play. And Rollins did everything right. She got in transition. She jump stopped. She shot faked. Kraft held her ground and was able to get the block. But that's a good play both ways.
Right now the lead is 30 with under a minute left to go here third quarter. Zartman is checked back in. New substitution too, Avery Nevin. As the drive, boy, it was there, just couldn't finish it. Nevin with the board, and we're going to have a foul. That is team foul, I believe, number 4. Second foul on Fernandez. Well, I know you got a 30-point lead. You're in no rush. Do you work for one shot here?
Absolutely. You're
Okay.
trying to work on situations here. Situational basketball. Hold for one and see what you can get.
Well, spotting up, Nevin had a good look from the baseline off the mark. Fernandez wants to run. Look at this, taking everybody with her. She can't finish, but she'll head to the line. And that foul's going to go against Ariel Brown, number 10. 14 2/10 of a tick left to go here third quarter. Fernandez will shoot a pair. Still looking around. I know that this gym, this entire school is still relatively new, but it just has a brand new feel to it.
It does. They did a phenomenal job here. Like I said, this is a high school gym, but you think you're in a
Small college.
Yeah, small college. Absolutely. It's gorgeous. It's well kept. This is an absolute gem.
Oh my, great screen up top by Zartman, and coming off it, Nevin knew exactly what to do. That was textbook. And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter, 47-16, as the Pilots finishing the third quarter strong. We'll have the final 8 minutes when we come back. You're watching DCTV Sports. Final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard here at the Dog Pound. It is night number 1, game number 2 of the 2023 DPT Classic. Defiance Physical Therapy putting on a great tournament. 4 teams. First winner of the night, the Blue Streaks of Archbold, 48. The Rams of Tinora, 42. They will be awaiting in another 8 minutes the Pilots of Ayersville in the championship game.
This will be a heck of a matchup.
It really is. That's going to be a fun one. I know you aren't going to be able to make the drive over tomorrow night, but we'll go ahead and keep you abreast of the score.
I'll be scrolling through social media, trying to stay updated on what's going around the area.
47-16. It's a 31-point lead. Whoa! And I think Coach Nicely laid down a challenge to the Pilots during that timeout. Pick up your defense. Get locked in. Get back after it.
Yeah, again, just trying to make sure, exactly. Just that. Just stay sharp mentally and continue to do things right so you don't get in bad habits.
Right now, Defiance is still playing very strong, especially on the ball. And into a triple team. Stolen away. Woof. Look at Rollison swinging those elbows and clearing out. Dishes off near wing. Angelica Sabalos has checked in. And the ball's out of bounds. Sabalos, a 5'9" senior.
Defiance, they're going to switch to a 1-2-2 zone here.
Mixing stuff up.
Right now with them extended like they go to the high post. Right there, good. Got it to Zartman. Now you can go diagonally opposite. Now they turn it over, but that's where you want to look.
Well, that's sophomore Allison Eldridge that dove to try and save it. And we're going to see probably more than just a few substitutions for the Pilots here in the final 7 minutes and 12 seconds. .31 lead right now. And we've just hit the 7-minute mark. On the drive, Fernandez back in the defense down. I will say this, they're getting good looks. Defiance is being aggressive, but again, that fine-tuning, if you want to call it, that next level to be able to finish your shot. And that comes with time and obviously experience.
Well, you got to go from A to B to B to C, you know, before you get to that point. And but they're getting there. I mean, you said they've been aggressive. They've gotten downhill. Where have their shots come from this half? In the key.
Yeah.
Now they haven't necessarily gone in as much as you would like, but they're doing the right. They're doing the right things.
Right there, you saw Rallison again get the ball back in the arrow point to him. I mean, she's been very gritty tonight. That ball goes off the side of the backboard. Speaking of grit, follows her own shot, and she'll go to the line.
It's a great, outstanding job, Bella Rollison.
Foul's going to go against Zartman, her first. Couple of dribbles. Rallison releases just a little bit short. Rallison 2 for 3 right now, trying to hit 75% on the evening, and she does. She's got a little edge to her game. I like it. Again, just a sophomore. And look at that. Look who's out on the ball and gets the deflection. Couple of underclassmen getting after it. We'll have yet another jump ball. This one goes to the Pilots.
Well, with the 1-2-2 pressure, they decided they were going to trap the first pass, and then they did, and they caught Ayersville off guard, and they turned it over. And so obviously, Coach nicely here, he's going to call timeout. He's going to get things in order in terms of, look, when it goes to the wing, we go immediately to the high post, then we'll look opposite, and we'll get an open look.
First Insurance Group timeout. 6:20 left to go in the contest. A 30-point lead for the Pilots. We're back after this on DCTV Sports. Working our way through the fourth quarter. 6:14 and counting. 3-ball from the far corner, off the mark. Ball being batted around. They're playing pinball with it, and a heads-up job by Avery Nevin to come out with it. Pilots leading the Bulldogs by 30, 47-17. Defiance is still playing very physical defense. High blocks. Late pass by Zartman, trying to go to the low blocks. Deflection, and how about this? Another steal, this time by Fernandez. Rollins crosses over. Well, you got a pair of sophomores in between the circles there. How good can that backcourt be in another couple years?
Well, as they stay with it, continue to work and develop their skills, and that's why you play young kids now. And if you know you're gonna go through those learning curves, those growing pains, but you do it so you can reap the benefits a year, 2, 3 down the road.
Fernandez showing some grit. Will maintain possession for the Bulldogs. Rollins pops to the near corner. Long jumper off the mark. Zartman cleans up underneath. And look at that, though. She's immediately drawing pressure from a couple of white jerseys. That's an attitude. You can't coach that. Either you're going to get after it or you're not.
See the adjustment against the zone. Now they're denying the high post hard. We're just going to allow what that opens up is that simple reversal pass across the top. Now it's important for the girl at the top to attack the outside hip of the wing defender.
Into a double team, and instead of a timeout, throwing it out of bounds off the defense. Sabalos just kind of forces a smile. Look, that 1-3-1 is designed to extend the foul line, take away that 15 to 17-foot jumper.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about that type of a defense, where do you want the ball to go?
I want to get it to the high post, number one, if I can. If the backside guard is gonna suck down and deny that post and take that away, I'm gonna reverse it around the top. But I'm telling that girl at the top, you turn. If I get it from right to left, I'm telling her then to attack the left hip of the defender, all right, to get her on my inside. That'll give me an easy kick-out pass to the wing corner area, and then you dive the high post to the ball side corner to the block, and then you try to make that post entry pass and beat the zone, zone rotation.
Brenner came up to set a screen. It was an illegal one. That will be her second. What was the last points of any kind for either team here? Both are on a scoring drought right now. Tempo of the second half, but especially here in the fourth quarter, has, I don't want to say come to a grinding halt, but it has slowed.
And that's exactly what you got to do there.
Yep.
You drive the gap, look diagonally opposite. You got to convert the catch and finish.
Morgan Kiesler got into the paint, but again, just not ready for the pass. I think that was Nevin. There's another turnover. Here comes Eldridge. And look at that. Rollins playing still some tight defense and forces the turnover.
Challenging the catch.
Yep. Substitution for the Bulldogs. Caroline McDonald now onto the court, 5'10" junior. Sabalos will take a seat. Rollins crosses over, draws the defense. Nice feed. Just can't quite finish Rollison. Guess what? Who's got the basketball? She's a little spark plug, isn't she?
Well, she is dynamic.
Uses the screen. Nice dish. That's a good look. Unfortunately, unable to come up with it. But again, good hustle by McDonald. Nice cut by Fernandez. See, the basics, I think what we're seeing here, Rhett, are there. It's just, can you add to that? Like you said, level 1 to level 2, level 2 to level 3.
Absolutely. That's a great weak side cut by Fernandez. You just navigate your way through the defense. They got their heads turned, focused on ball side, and you just navigate from the weak side, find the hole in the defense, and she was able to do that.
First is long by Fernandez. She's 1 for 3 tonight. Zartman will check out. Second is on the way. Couldn't find it. Offensive board and the garbage put back for Olivia Brenner. She's in the books. Double teaming the ball. And another throwaway, almost a forced turnover, and it is. Well, look at Brenner. He's taking on anybody and everybody. Long outlet off of Rollison, and wow, it's getting a little frenetic now.
That was a good job there by Defiance defensively. Again, they trapped the first pass. They tried to go to the high post, but that was being denied by the backside guard. I think the opening, you want your point guard who made the pass to go to sprint to the sideline to make it an easier outlet pass and then play out of that.
Ball being tapped around, playing pinball with it right now. Pilots come away with it. Coming up on 3 minutes left to go in the contest. Up by 28.
There's Rollins
Yeah,
again, challenging the catch.
Whistle sounds out of bounds. We'll see another substitution. This time checking in Layla Keller for the Bulldogs and trying to get a number on this young lady. Number 5. Let's take a peek. That's Nadia Leatherman.
Nadia Leatherman, freshman.
Yep.
Getting some valuable experience here.
Keller just a sophomore. A lot of youth on this roster. Ripping it away. Shot is up, halfway down. Whoa, shooter's touch. Ooh. And hitting the deck, unable to celebrate quite on that shot. As McDonald got down the floor, she absolutely leveled. I think that was number 22, Allison Eldridge. 49-19. Nice rip through, and you can just kind of tell some of the substitutes right now, even with almost a 30-point game, still maybe a few nerves.
Yeah, I mean, they're young, they're learning too.
Boy, both sides still getting after it. Well, time to be thinking of the Steichman Automotive Group player of the game. Going through a couple of players in my scorebook here. Probably leaning towards Allie Schindler. Scrum, McDonald, showing no fear. Likewise, Ella Kilgallen. Schindler, by my book, has a dozen tonight. Under 2 minutes. She's picked up her dribble. She needs somebody to come help her. Youngster still staying on him and into the paint. More bodies flying. A lot of players going to be black and blue after this game.
Yeah, they call that one on the floor, so the ball's going to be inbounded, baseline out of bounds.
I was going to say, maybe we need some gauze wrap or some Neosporin. We could get ourselves a new sponsor. Man, whoa, and getting a little physical here. That's going to be a travel, though. Moving a little quicker, Nadia Leatherman. It'll be fun to come back here in 4 seasons and watch how these freshmen have grown up.
Exactly right. You see it all around basketball. Something you get, so you know they're going to experience some tough times, some growing pains, but then you also see 2 years later how they just blossom and develop. Because being on the floor here, and here's the thing with these young players, because they're freshmen, sophomores at the varsity level, you see them learning. But they were always used to being the best player on the floor where things have come pretty easily to them. So this is the first time, even though the positive is you're gaining valuable experience, you're learning how to play the game at the varsity level, it has to mess with you mentally a little bit because it's the first time you've struggled. So I think for a coach, it's, you constantly gotta preach and drill, within them and emphasize, say, look, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, but mentally you just got to stay strong and understand the big picture and how much better you're going to be next year for having this experience this year, and you're going to grow from it. And because sometimes if you don't, counsel them through, them having maybe struggled for the first time, in their careers playing the game, sometimes that can have an effect on them as well. So, obviously, from a program standpoint, it's the best for the program. You learn now and you build for later, and considering where they're at right now, but you coming to counsel those young kids through because they are 14 years old.
Rollins into the front court as we approach the final minute of the ball game. Some sharp perimeter passing. Rollins will spot up for 3. Can't find it. McDonald's there. Can't find the range again.
Good job staying with it, getting on the offensive glass. Just couldn't get it to fall.
Walking it up and across the timeline, Sheets. Well, Rollins is going to stay with her and knocks that ball away.
She's going to make you earn every inch of the floor.
She is not going to concede a single second while it's on the clock. The inbounds to the far corner, Nevin, and was she fouled? Yes, she was. So she'll head to the line. It's going to be Brenner's 4th. Nevin spins the ball, releases off the mark. Chloe Seiler checking back in.
Now that we're in the final minute here, looking forward, man, that's going to be one heck of a championship game tomorrow.
It will.
2 teams are very well coached, similar personnel, similar size, similar styles of play.
50-21. Fernandez kicks it out. Keller thought about it. Right back down low to Fernandez. Nice hustle by Seiler, but she cannot save it. Well, with 26 up, you can hear Coach Nicely saying, bring it up and just hang on to it. Now the question is, can you hang on to it? Will Rollins allow you? And she will not. You're going to have to do something with this basketball. You're going to get a 5-second call. And they're going to continue to play defense for the final 10 seconds of this game. And now she'll back it out. Sheets will dribble until the buzzer. Final score. Pilots 50. Bulldogs 21. Well, just simple to say that Ayersville built to win this year, and Defiance a future team.
Yeah, without question. And give Ayersville credit coming in on the road in the host team's gym. With that veteran team, that veteran experience, and with that balance, they were able to do what they needed to do early and often in this game, and they took control of it with smothering defense, allowed them to create some turnovers, get out in transition, and open this game up early. But to Defiance's credit, they didn't quit. Regardless of the score, they competed from buzzer to buzzer, and for Coach Lewis, that's something you can build on.
We're going to take a quick timeout for the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching DCTV Sports. Back for the postgame, the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. Brent Balbinot alongside Rhett Boyd, as we now know what the brackets tomorrow night will look like, both for the consolation and for the championship game. Let's start with this one, though. Basically, the Pilots just jumped out early. It was 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. They never looked back. Give Coach Nicely a tip of the cap for showing some class and subbing out. He didn't have a single starter on the court in the final 8 minutes of this ball game. He didn't need to. 50-21, the final scores. The Pilots remain unbeaten at 5-0. The Bulldogs still looking for their first win of the season now at 0-6. Your thoughts?
Well, I think
32 minutes.
Well, the veteran play, the balance that Ayersville brought into this ball game really paid off early and often. That smothering defense just overwhelmed this Defiance basketball team, and it allowed them to get out in transition and score those 21 points in the opening quarter, and that really set the tone for this one.
You take a look at it, it could have been a lot worse. But at the same time, Allie Schindler scores a dozen points, did what she needed to, all 5 starters in the scoring column. But even more so, the bench didn't just come in for the Pilots to burn time. I'm looking at 10, I'm looking at 15, 17 points off the bench. This is supposed to be in-game valuable experience for reserves you never know when you might need later on in the season.
It shows the depth that Coach Nicely's built within this program to have that production. And but I think when you look at with the starters or the main rotation, it kind of played out like it has all season long up to this point. Schindler was in double figures, and you have 3-4 players at that 7-8 point mark. And what that balance creates is, as teams start to prepare for you in the scouting report, yeah, Schindler might be number 1 in the scouting report, but then who? Because there's 3-4 girls that can come up and beat you at any given ball game. So that keeps the opposing team's defenses on their heels, and because they just don't know who to sink their teeth into and who to let roam free.
Well, rounding out the scoring for the Pilots, Mannon finishes with 8. Lainey Sheets comes off the bench with 8 points. You've got 7 points for Kendra Waldron, 4 for starting center Taylor Kraft. And again, she's not necessarily in for points. She's in for boards. She had at least 4 blocks tonight, and she really gummed things up in the middle.
She's a presence, and she comes in averaging 11.5 rebounds coming into this one. And it was just her presence on the glass. It was her presence altering shots, blocking shots. She just makes life difficult for opponents, because we talked about how Defiance did a pretty good job of getting in the lane with the dribble, but once they got there, Kraft was there, as a rim protector, and anytime you have that allows your guards to even play that much more aggressively on the perimeter, knowing that she's behind you and can clean up your mess. We'll
take a quick break. Back with more of the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. We'll break down the Bulldogs for you right after this. You're watching DCTV. Brent Balbinot alongside Rhett Boyd as we are putting a wrap on the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. Final score: Pilots defeat the Bulldogs tonight by a final of 50-21. Let's run down the Bulldogs scoring totals. Nobody more than 3 points. Bella Rollinson scored 3. She got to the line, 4 free throws. She made 3 out of those 4. 3 off the bench. No, check that. A 3 off, not off the bench. Starter. Alexa Garcia. Then after that, a deuce for Samantha Hohenberger, a deuce for Olivia Brenner, a deuce apiece off the bench for Eliza Ramirez and Carolyn McDonald. 0-6, still a team in progress, a work in progress, but you know what? You're going to get a game again tomorrow night. So unlike a lot of other sports where you may have to sit on a loss, especially in a small tournament bracket format, if you're Coach Lewis and company, you get right back on your home court tomorrow night.
And that's exactly what you need. You go in and you talk about some things that you like, some things maybe you need to get better at, and then you turn the page, because you have a team waiting for you in Tinora who's a little bit upset right now.
Archbold. Oh, you mean Tinora? Yes. For
yeah, they play Tinora tomorrow night, so they're a little bit upset right now after they came up short in their ball game too. So you got to be ready to go. And again, with a young club, that's what you want to preach: effort and attitude. They gave that here tonight. They just came up short in terms of getting that final execution and getting that ball to fall, and they said taking care of the basketball as well. But again, every day's a new day, and you continue to build.
One last piece of business to take care of before we call it a night ourselves. Time for our Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game. Look, the numbers aren't going to be glossy for the winners tonight because Coach Nicely went to the bench for that final quarter. But Allie Schindler, 12 points. She had those through just 3 quarters and was really just a very calming but also very effective presence on the court.
And she was. And that's where it starts. That's where it started all year long, is you go to her early and often and she gets going, and then you get those 3 or 4 girls behind her that average that 7-8 point a game range. It just makes you balance, and it makes you difficult to guard. And what I liked about it, too, is they share the basketball. They love to get out in transition. They run the floor. They fill the lanes. You got rim runners. And, this is a team that, as long as they continue to defend at a high level and they can get those easy buckets, that just gets everybody in a rhythm, and they'll be really tough to defeat.
So with the victory, the Pilots move into the championship game. They will take on the Blue Streaks of Archbold. That will be the second game tomorrow night. The opener in the consolation round will be Defiance taking on Tinora. That's going to do it for our coverage here this evening. Rhett, appreciate you throwing on the headsets this evening.
Oh, no problem. It was a lot of fun. Anytime you get to watch high school basketball, get two games in one day, take it every time.
Big thank you going out to all of our sponsors for helping make the broadcast a possibility. Folks, if you appreciate our coverage of high school sports here on DCTV, let those businesses know it. Walk through those doors and patronize them and let them know how much you appreciate it. Our appreciation going out to our crew as well. Alex, Will, John, Josh, Jeff stopping out earlier as well. Again, doing more than yeoman's work here this evening. Also, a big thank you going out to you, the fan, for tuning in this evening. Final score, game number 2, 50-21. The final score as the Bulldogs fall to the Pilots. It will be the Pilots and the Blue Streaks in the championship game tomorrow night. For Rhett Boyd and our entire crew, I'm Brent Balbinot saying thank you for joining us. You've been watching a production of DCTV Sports.